Right, and welcome back to the Vaingate Chronicles. After our recent hiatus due to the interference of some unexpected cosmic forces in real life, I'm Russell Kirkby, Dungeon Master and creator of Sidariel, and it would be remiss of me not to take this opportunity to say that rumours of our demise are vastly exaggerated. Firstly, however, I'd like to thank you all personally for your support, your views, your follows, your subscriptions, and general engagement with our little show here and on our social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, etc. You'll find all of those links below. Your enjoyment is what makes this all worthwhile, and I don't think I'm alone when I say thank you from all of us on the stream. I can tell you that we are right now running on an even leaner budget than we've ever done before, so your support is even more crucial to keeping morale high and the show on the road. Now, as you might have noticed, we've also taken this opportunity to switch from Thursday night New Zealand time to Wednesday 7 p.m. plus 13 UTC. This was a consensus among the Vaingate cast for a variety of reasons, personal and practical, a change which we hope doesn't affect our core viewers. In the same breath, we welcome all the new people who might now come and find us in our new time slot. So, without further ado, I should like to introduce you to Milford Brixton, or should I say Barry Tahira, who plays Milford Brixton. Barry, would you like to say hello to our Wednesday night audience?
Good evening, people. I hope you enjoy the show.
Right, well, Barry's already in character, I see that. Okay, Leith Mistralath, played by Steve Austin.
Hey everyone, hope you enjoy, those of you joining us for the first time, I hope you enjoy the show.
Yeah. Goodale Dala Talandaran, try and say that in a single breath, played by Joanna Grotenhouse.
G'day all.
Goodale, Goodale. Oh, I see what you did there. Okay, and Edrin Montkoff, who has a much longer name that Max Easy is probably about to tell you.
Oh, I can if you like.
You go.
Edrin Stywell Korinovich Montkov.
There you go.
Hello! Hi!
Right, and finally, last but not least, Adric Fogdar, much more easy to pronounce, but unlike his actor's name, Michael Bache. I think I said
Well
that
done.
right.
Yes, you did. Well done.
Yay! All right, so welcome back, everyone. Those of you who have been with us before for a number of weeks now. This is our 13th episode, can you believe it? Not including the episodes that came before that. So yeah, as a quick little recap. So I'm doing this off the top of my head now. So as far as I recall, everybody was inside the treasure ship chamber, essentially the Vizier's chamber, beneath the city of Vaingate. So for anyone who's new, basically these guys have been sent to infiltrate the Wizards of Barakyle, who are busy trying to steal Ostorian relics from the Underdark, basically below Vaingate, under the noses of the nobles and the Queen, and they're doing this on behalf of a whole other group of people. So they've got like 4 different bosses right now. It's quite complicated. You'll pick it up as you go along. I'm sure they'll explain it. They've already had a number of encounters in the Underdark, and they've been up and down, and they've fought various creatures here and there. And right now they're dealing with they've just decimated Hamir, I believe. And Hamir was the wizard of the Barakyle envoy that was sent with you guys as part of your little coterie, as it were, to go and protect the treasure ship. So they're in a chamber presently with this huge giant, and I say giant, I mean giant as in the giants, as in the Ostorian Empire giants, treasure ship. It's a bit like a Viking ship. It's very, 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 very old, like 30,000 years old kind of deal. And this chamber is extraordinarily old. And the ship itself has fallen to ruin, although parts of it are still somewhat intact due to the very cunning wooden preservation inks and paints and things that they put on the ship itself before it was lost to time. This chamber itself also is full of gold and treasure and all sorts of other remarkable items and objects. It was here that they found a book which I have a name for, but I believe the players also have their own name for it. What was that again, Edrin?
think I called it the Tome of Twisted Flesh.
Right.
Or the
Twisted
Tome of
Skin.
Twisted Skin. There you go, the Tome of Twisted Skin.
So this is a book about the size of a...
Mine was more like holy shit, stay away from that thing, but all is one word.
Right, all is one word, right.
Yeah.
I had the name, the Book of Faces, which is simply, that's kind of, because it's got faces on the cover of it, made up of the faces of giants on the cover of this huge tome. And this tome has been the cause of no end of trouble for these guys, as it seems to have the ability to possess people and such. So they've been trying to figure out what to do with that as well. So with no further ado, I think I'm going to pass it back over to you guys and simply just set the scene a little bit more and ask you all to close your eyes for a moment and picture the scene and hear the silence in this chamber. And in the distance you can hear the slight sound of what could be sand falling through the cracks in the ceiling irregularly, this kind of and then there's dead silence that just seems to permeate everything. And then after a moment you can hear the dripping of water in the distance, and you can see now in your mind's eye, as you shift into character, this very slight crack of light coming from the ceiling of the treasure chamber, that this shaft of light that runs through the dust, cast down and glittering off the gold that litters this huge room and this treasure ship. And this is the place where you killed the giant skeletal snake earlier, a few weeks ago, the guardian here. All right. So take it away, ladies and gentlemen. You're on.
So what are we gonna do now?
Well, should we leave this body sitting just out in the middle, or should we try to like make it look like it's been attempted to be hidden?
No, I believe we leave it out here. It's dressed up like Xandor, so easily to cover his escape.
Who among you has blood on your hands from the death of Hamir?
Oh, all of us.
Right. It was
We
quite...
all
I
laid
didn't do
in.
anything. I was carrying Idrin, and
Oh.
he was firing firebolts. So technically, I don't.
All right. Seems reasonable.
Okay.
I can't actually remember if I managed to hit him or not.
I believe you did.
You set
take-
him on fire.
Right.
Oh!
Right.
You and I at the very least set his clothes on fire, just to make sure that he was indistinguishable.
Can he be distinguished by magic? That's what I want to know.
Of
I don't know
course.
who tried.
Okay, so shall we take his body and throw it down there, seeing as our little plan's not quite gonna work then?
So when you say down there, if it's what I think you mean, you're talking about the crack halfway up the staircase that leads out of this chamber, right?
That's what I'm talking about,
Right.
yeah. Can he fit in there?
He would fit in there for sure. That's. I mean, do you remember the scene where the Balrog falls?
Oh, yeah.
Right. It's a bit like that.
Yeah, if we throw him in there.
It's probably
I'm
not
still of
quite
the
as big as
opinion
that,
that we
but
should-
it has the same general effect.
I'm still of the opinion that we should leave him here. I don't see why someone would come and reconstruct the corpse and go, all right, Xandor, back to work.
Well, but he might, have,
By the time anyone figures out this, like, hey, well, this one is a wee bit older and a whole lot uglier than Xandor, the man will be long gone, and so will we.
I believe he's right. I think we should leave it to be found, so that there's going to be more suspicion cast on the body than if it was hidden.
And any investigation will only buy us time.
Is everybody okay with that then?
I'm okay. Well, seeing as I came up with that.
Oh, of course you're okay with it.
Well, I mean,
Naturally,
I'm
you'd
not
be
hearing
okay
any
with it.
nays.
Anyway, we better do some healing up. Good day.
Mr. Edrin,
welcome.
what do you think?
I
Adrian, don't look at the
absentmindedly,
book. Don't look at the book,
as I'm
Adrian.
still currently reading the first page that I finally achieved.
Mr. Edrin, why are you looking at the book?
The human has had a hard time keeping away from it with his. Perhaps it's a human rashness.
I'll no.
I already conversed with Mr. Fogdar. Before Hemir decided to tell him what to do, Edric seemed pretty convinced that I was okay, and I am okay. I'm just glad I can finally read.
But are you just saying you're okay because you're saying you're okay and just trying to convince us you're okay when you're really not okay?
Edrin, do me a favor. Take a step back from the book, turn around, and then you may return.
All right, I'll take a step back. I turn around. We did this 5 minutes ago. I turn around and go back to the book.
Okay.
As you can see, if Edrin was under the influence, as he has been before, I'm not inclined to believe that he would so eagerly and easily step away from it.
Just so you know, Mr. Edrin, though, I am ready with my mage hand if you need, any assistance.
Thank you very much, Leith.
Yes, I don't want to presume anymore.
Don't be reading too much of that book now. We haven't got the time, really. Now, next question. I'm full of questions today. Anyway, what about the boat? Shall we go for the boat? The boats.
You mean the ones in the harbour, not this dirty great thing over here.
No, not the dirty great thing.
Well, wasn't that always the plan? I mean, we come down here, we maul this poor gentleman, and then we go upstairs, grab those, and then eventually grab those boats and scamper with Xandor.
Yeah, that was the plan. All right. Does everybody still want to keep with that after their things that have happened?
Well, I would guess so. Yes.
Unless anyone wants to about face and blow up the city. Don't blow up the city. I'm joking, please.
Oh no! Don't blow up my city. That's not good. No.
We won't do that. It was just the next worst possible direction to go.
Can I have a perception check from everybody, please?
Oh my! This could only go well. This would moderately.
It could. 7.
12.
Oh, I haven't done this since so long.
Okay, Leith 7, yep. Adric 12. Goodale
Me?
12.
3.
Milford 3. Edrin 12.
I'm looking at. Yes, I am.
Okay, that's fine. All right, please continue.
Okay. Now,
Is anyone in need of some healing before we continue on?
Well, I do think a rest might be a very good idea for us all, because we did take quite a battering by Mr. Hemir there.
One man. 5 of us. Astounding.
Yes, one very specific lightning bolt was what was the problem there.
I'd be impressed if I wasn't so annoyed at him. That is not your ability.
Yes, well, he's out of the picture now.
So, Edrin, what are you doing right now?
I'm reading the first page of the Tome of Twisted Skin.
Okay. So you open the tome, right?
It was open, and I've been spending a good portion of the time flipping
towards it.
I've flipped back, towards it, towards the beginning of the book.
Flipping back through the tome towards the very first page, and
Yes,
as you get
page
to the
by
very
page.
first page, you see there's a bunch of writing that's clearly in. Not only is it in Giant, but it's an archaic Giant. You able to read Giant? Yeah.
I cast Comprehend Languages on myself, which was how I was able to read the
Right.
Wish spell that was at the back.
Right.
and that lasts for an hour.
Okay, so you can still read the giant at the moment, and you can read the writing here. And the first thing you notice is it says something to the effect of this is an account of one Zebasius Israel Darion.
Could I potentially have a spelling for that, please?
You can. I'm going to write it. Can you see the stream chat? Shall I write it in there so that the audience can see it as well?
That sounds good.
Okay.
If my phone will let me do it.
Zebasius Israel Darion. I want to be famous for coming up with the most convoluted names in all of history. That's my plan.
I can't wait to see you in like a 5e accessory book, and all about how to come up with weird names for gods and/or creatures inside inside your games.
Right.
I can't
There
wait
is a
to see
method
us
to
in
the madness.
movies.
Okay, so now can you make a history check for me, Adrian?
Of course. Where is that gone? Yay, 11.
Oh boy.
Yay!
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Even with proficiency.
Well, even with proficiency. You know what? Because I'm such a nice guy, I'm going to give you advantage on that roll.
Yeah.
Because you're just in the zone right now.
The zone.
That's a bit more like
Um,
it.
Double that.
Double that.
22.
Okay, well, Zebasius Israel Darion is a famous name among occultists and mages, wizards, sorcerers, and warlocks in the world of Sidariel for being a notable individual a long time ago in the past. His name has almost been forgotten to history by everyone except for these spellcasters who keep his name alive for the pure and simple reason that he is the most famous lich to have ever lived. And possibly the first in Sidariel, to be fair.
The most famous lich?
Correct.
Ooh. Oh. Okay.
So this name at least goes back to the age of the giants. So you would know that he was a high elf originally, and that he encountered the giants. And these are secrets that, according to the stories that you've read, they may or may not have come from the giants. They might have been stolen from somewhere else. And yes, yeah, we'll leave it at that for now. Does anyone else want to... Oh, you made your perception checks, didn't you? That's right. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Very good. Please continue. As you were.
So, what's our next step then? I'm of the opinion that we go up and inform Xandor that his proxy body is prepared, and we consult what to do next there.
That's a good idea. And also, you could get information about the ships and the people on the ships. And
Aye.
you might, because he likes you so much, you might inform him gently about what we're planning to do.
Can I have that perception check again from everybody, please?
That's an 18 for Adric.
That's a not much better for Leith. A 9.
You guys suck.
It's
an
not me. It's not me. It's the dice.
Milford. Come on, Milford. Oh my god.
6.
Okay, dokie.
Oh, hang on, I hit the wrong thing.
Oh, but Goodale got an 18, right? Adric got an 18.
Okay,
Is
we'll
that-
Adric
go
an
with
18.
Gadale.
Okay, so Goodale and Adric, you both kind of look down and notice that from the book, because at the moment, from the position in which Edrin is sitting, he can't see this. The book's kind of in the way, but from the back of the book, there is this arc of electricity going off it onto the floor. And from that arc of electricity, it's kind of forming this weird sort of hand of electricity that's fumbling around. Like, it doesn't look like a hand. It's more like kind of just a bunch of zappy lines coming off each other. And they're kind of walking spider-like across the floor in the direction of Hamir's corpse.
That's not good. I'm going to run over to Hamir's corpse and drag it away from the book.
Okay, you can make an athletics check, please.
Yes. God, maybe I should go giant for this. No, I'm not going to do that. That is a 25.
Okay, you race across the room,
Sorry,
dive
23.
for the corpse. Feel free to do some sort of acrobatics in and of itself, if you know what I'm saying, like full rolls, any sort of actual acrobatics. Was that an athletics check that you made?
Forward.
Yep.
I rolled a strength save.
A strength save.
My athletics, but that would be a 22. That's -2 from that.
Okay. 20 is still amazing. Very good. Okay,
yeah.
and you get to the
so
corpse.
He's running.
And you start dragging it
Sorry.
away from
Carry on.
the arcing electricity. The electricity keeps going, and it continues to follow you. Can you make another check, please? This time, we'll make another athletics check. And which direction are you dragging it, by the way?
Towards the stairs, back up to the surface. That's a 23.
Okay, so you're dragging him through the treasure chamber towards the exit. Another amazingly high roll. Very well. Okay, you get as far as the gate. The rolls won't keep up. All right, guys. I've revised my opinion. I don't think we should leave him here. We should find another spot to dump the body. The electricity stops arcing and sort of dissipates.
Who here is good with magic and or like electricity?
Well, I'm good with magic.
Do me a favor and just have a wee look in that general direction, somewhat from the book. You won't believe this, but I casually looked down at my shoes to see if my boots were tied. They are, but it looked like there was some lightning spidering across the floor towards Hamir's corpse from the book, and
at about the point where you started running and rolling for it, I think people might have started trying to notice it. You guys can have one last perception check to see if you notice the electricity arcing across the floor.
Just Adric to fucking just bolt. It's like, why is doing that? Why do you pick up the body? That's weird.
13.
Okay,
It's
13.
okay, Adric. I saw it as well.
13 was just enough to catch it.
What would that be?
I
Milford.
do giant stuff, hammers, and hitting. So I'm
Oh,
afraid it's
yes.
a bit beyond me.
Oh, that's a good story.
Well,
Really?
Was it going for the body?
What body?
It might be some sort of.
This one, Brixton, and he starts jangling Hamir's corpse.
Are you
Just like
going
that,
funny
perfect.
or something?
I believe I'm incredibly funny, but in this regard, there is no punchline.
Oh,
There was electricity and it was going for Hamir's body.
Oh, Mr. Edrin.
oh, that's shocking. That is. That's really shocking.
Oh dear. Oh, Mr. Edrin, do you think that this might be that this might be some sort of necromantic magic? Perhaps?
Adrian, hello, Adrian.
Yes, I am starting to think that maybe so too, especially if it was heading towards a dead body so fervorously. If it's not too much bother, I should like to keep reading. It's very
Are you sure you're all?
interesting.
Are you sure you're all right?
Yes, it's just more. It raises more questions than answers, and I think
Could we?
I can leave, but it's a rather big book, and I'm hoping
Could you like put it in your pocket or something? I mean,
No.
you know,
It's,
we need
it's
to
the
get
size of
moving,
a table,
people.
Brixton.
I'd be willing to take a quick short rest post-fight, and during that time, Adrian, you could have a quick gander through it, but we must be making our way.
Yes, I'll do my best to be as expeditious as possible.
Not a problem.
I'm happy to keep an eye on you, Adrian.
Yes, please. I think that would actually be best. Stay close.
At this stage, Idrin hasn't told us that it's the book of a lich. Or the account of a
Not
lich.
yet.
Not yet, okay.
Not yet.
Goodale's been quickly looking up and Googling liches, I bet.
In fantasy Google.
Right.
Is that not allowed?
Well, player information is not character information, but can you make a history check? Well, no, you haven't heard about this yet, so there's no point in making a history check yet. Yeah, at this point, Goodale is blissfully ignorant. Okay.
Okay, so let's get the book, so he can read it somewhere and get
We
it.
can't move it. Brixton, if you have a quick look at the book over there, it's about the size of an exceptionally well-laden dinner table, and I'm not going to bet on another transformation.
Is it
to
still?
shift
Is
it.
it still got rope around it like I put on it before?
Since last time you saw it, Barry, the rope seems to have fallen loose.
Oh, well, there should be a rope around there somewhere.
And getting it over the crevasse might be a bit of a problem if it weighs a few £100.
If need be, and if this is the last time we'll be coming down here, I don't mind strapping it to my back. That being said, we would have to be very expedient about how we get across a crevasse, because I can maintain my transformation for a minute.
So you do notice also, Idrin, that the book has gold leaf. What do you call them? The word was in my brain 2 seconds ago. I hate this.
The illustrations around the borders.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying.
Hieroglyphs?
Hieroglyphs.
Emblazonments?
Embellishments. Runes.
Graffiti.
No, there's a better word. It's a biblical.
I know what
term,
you're
actually.
looking for. I know what you mean. I know exactly what
You
you
know what I'm
mean as
saying.
well.
Yeah.
Okay, you
It's just
do
not
it,
the actual
nobody
word.
else does.
Okay.
Yes, as we were.
It's also got various metal parts too, like it's got hinges and things and so,
Okay.
holding the lock together.
Okay, well, if the rope's
quite heavy.
still there, even though it's been untied,
Are you there, Barry? You're a bit quiet.
I am. I'm talking.
Okay.
I'm talking.
You-
If the rope's still there, we can retie it, and then put it on your back as a big, when you go big.
Okay, that's how we'd get it across that crevasse. I believe I'm probably the only person that could comfortably move it.
I think you're
This is the
right.
last time we'll be coming down. All right.
I think a short rest, if we were wanting it,
It would
Down
behoove us.
here?
aye.
that would also give me at least a little bit of time to get as much information out of this thing as possible before we shift it and then potentially lose it.
Yeah, just like dog ear one of the pages. You're not returning it to a library, so it's fine. No one's going to be angry if you dog ear.
No, yes, true. I think I'll be able to remember which page. It's just how much information we can get out of it before we potentially lose it down a crevasse or get it stolen from us from the Barak Isle.
What if it robs me of my mind and I murder you all?
That's a fair
Oh,
point.
we won't notice much difference then, will we?
It'll be the last thing you notice, I wager.
All right.
I'm just teasing. I'm terribly sorry. I'm a little bit out of sorts since Hamir died. Excuse me.
Indeed. I'm a bit running low as well.
All right.
Really?
I do think
Yes,
a rest would be
everybody.
a good idea.
Okay.
And Edric's going to sit down on top of a pile of gold, and he's gonna dig into one of his little bags and start playing with some string and what looks like a very long, sharp quill.
Okay. All right. Everyone make perception checks, please.
Why we do so badly at it?
But I did so great this time. I got an 8.
Ah, what? 10. They're getting slowly better.
Slowly but
I
surely.
dramatically dropped.
Oh, 22.
Oh, finally, Milford.
Oh, I
Alright.
woke up.
Why do you think Milford was not making such great perception checks earlier?
I think off the top of Michael's head. I think he's still riding that angry high after he butchered Hamir's corpse.
Right. He really did butcher Kamia's corpse too. He really went to town.
Yeah, I didn't butcher it. I merely made a point with it. That's all.
Oh,
Several
I've
times.
seen mincemeat with better constitution.
Oh well.
Right. Anybody else got a
Leaf-
roll there? Okay. At that point,
Lee's been too busy just trying to decide what to do with the body to not really notice anything. I
right.
think.
So
Yeah.
besides the fact that he's thinking about the body, he's not actually looking at it.
No.
Right. In which case, he would have noticed, as Milford currently does, there is this blue electricity arcing across the floor, sort of
Oh, it's doing it again.
weaving its way.
It's doing it again. The electricity thing.
Why would it do that? I've already moved the corpse.
Do
Somebody
I?
wants to possess the corpse or something.
What direction is it going in? What's it trying to get to?
It's
after
trying.
the body.
It's
after
trying
the
to get to
body.
Hamir's body
What on earth would it want with Hamir?
Maybe
to
it's
raise him.
It grabs Hamir at that point,
Oh shit.
and it begins to wrap itself around his corpse.
Okay. Goodale's gonna quickly do a healing spell on herself.
He begins to shake,
Oh, we didn't get the.
Shit.
and then he begins to rise. He rises basically just off the floor vertically, woof, like that. You've all seen Dracula. You know how he does that.
What a good time. Episode 13, we brought an elder evil into the world. Fantastic.
He stands up and opens his eyes, and white light comes blazoning out of his face. And he's looking at all of you, or so you believe, and so you feel. What are you doing?
Standing up slowly, I'm taking out my hammer.
Oh, crap. Okay.
Would you like to roll initiative?
Not particularly.
I.
I don't have much I can do.
Fantastic, I got a 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Man, it really does feel like I got curb stomped by God today.
Goodale got a
Right.
2.
I'm an 11 on my initiative.
I believe I got a 7.
Milford's a 5.
I got
Oh
a
god,
two.
am I going fat?
Oh my God.
Shit.
Leaf.
Well, guys, it's been a good 13 episodes. I'm really looking forward to rolling my next character. It's going to
4.
be a monk.
Who am I missing?
That might be this whole episode.
So we've got Goodale is
Two.
a 2, Adric's a 3, Milford's a 5, Leith's an 11. Adrian, what's your initiative?
I'm above Adric, I'm a 17.
Oh, 17.
You're well above
That
average.
is above Adric.
I meant on the list. On the list. On the list, it says it's Leaf, Milford, Goodale, Edric, and then me.
Okay.
No, that was a.
That's fun. It was funny.
Right. What you begin to notice is that the flesh on his corpse, the wounds begin to seal. They're starting to fuse, and his body's shivering and shaking. Adrian, you're first at this point.
Okay. I'm going to cast a second level ice knife
All right.
at this thing.
All right.
So let me just get that ready. Cast. Didn't do anything. Oh, that's what it did. Oh, that did.
To hit.
9 to hit.
Okay. You can have
That
advantage.
misses.
You can have advantage on your to hit roll because he's not moving.
Thank you. Natural 20.
Haha. Okay. Good. Roll. Okay. Damage.
So first of all, he takes 14 points of piercing damage, and then because it's a second level ice knife, and it's a crit, that's 66 cold damage. He needs to make a dexterity saving throw first to see whether he takes half or not.
Did you just say 66 points of damage?
Yeah, because it's
Hell yeah.
3d6 cold, but oh no, hang on. Yes. Oh no. Make a dexterity saving throw.
I rolled a
Make a
5.
rolled a 5.
Yeah. And it should be at disadvantage
Failed.
anyway.
So that's just 3d6. I'm getting confused with the numbers here. It's 3d6 because that's technically not included because it's an area of an effect, that one.
Right.
So that is so it was 14 bludgeoning, 14 piercing, and 10 cold. So 24 points of damage in total.
Okay. 24 points of damage in total. All right.
Wow.
Very good.
And then I start backing up.
Okay. Leith, what do you do?
Oh, not nearly as much as that. Holy shit.
Wizards, eh?
Yeah, blooming heck.
Pew pew.
All I can do, and I think the wisest course of action is to go with some radiant damage for an undead, is cast Sacred Flame on the guy.
All right. It's me making a dex saving throw, isn't it?
Dex saving throw, yep.
Which I'm going to make with disadvantage because he can't move. He fails.
He fails. That is 6 points of damage.
All right. So that's 24, was it? Plus 6 is 30 points of damage so far. Is that right?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Milford, what are you doing? Now, bearing in mind this thing looks quite hot with electricity, so touching it with
Okay.
metal objects might not be that much fun.
Take out my bow.
All right. And you rolled a hit.
Yes, I do. Hang on. I'm gonna. Excellent. Right. I haven't used it in
Damn it,
such a
why did I
long
tell
time.
you?
Bow. Short bow. That's it.
Short bow.
Yeah, I haven't got a long one.
Mm-hmm. Rolled a hit.
And I get
14 hits.
14
Yep,
hits.
hits. 1d6 plus 3.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it to work. It's
Okay,
8.
plus another 8. Okay, so we're at 38. All right. Goodale.
Goodale is going to.
I think you may have skipped me, Russell.
What?
I was just before Goodale.
Oh, I'm sorry. You actually are just before Goodale. I lie. I'm sorry, Goodale.
Literally just before.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry.
okay. Go right ahead.
Goodale, you can think of what you're going to do.
thank you,
while
Joanna.
Adric does something extremely decisive, such as...
Adric's gonna take a deep breath. Gonna use use the second one for his bonus action. So that's 1d10 plus 4. That's a d100. D10 plus 4. That's gonna give me an extra grand total of 7 additional hit points. You'd love to see it, folks. And he's then gonna take his action to throw one of his hand axes at Hamir.
All right.
That's gonna see what that do. Man, that's a fantastic 10 to hit. And I'm assuming it doesn't.
That does not actually hit. It gets kind of close, and the electricity surrounding him kind of throws it off. Kind of
That's not
casts it
good,
away to the side, and it clatters to the floor coldly.
Does anyone have anything wooden I can use? That doesn't look like he likes metal very much.
I hold out my wand.
That'll do.
All right, now it's your turn,
I
Goodale.
guess
Unless,
that's just gonna be at the end of his turn, yeah.
yeah, Goodale.
Okay, Goodale is going to cast a blessing spell on Edrin, Leith, and Milford.
All right.
Yeah. That will buff them.
By how much?
By how much? So if they need to throw a saving throw,
Yep.
they can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to attack or
to
saving
the,
throw.
to the saving throw, or an attack or a saving throw, is it?
Yeah.
Equal saving throw, yeah.
Okay, cool, very good. All right then.
And
So
then,
Hamir at this point is rising up off the floor, literally floating now. And the electricity is really beginning to surround him, and it's kind of whizzing around his arms, which are outstretched. There's beams of light coming out of his face, and the wounds are beginning to completely seal up. His eyes begin to open, and you can see these dark, radiant pools inside these circles here. Idrin, it is your turn again.
can I hit him with an ice?
With
Yeah,
what?
I think Goodale wanted to do something
Yep.
as a bonus action.
Goodale, you got a bonus action?
Yeah, I'm going to. Goodale's going to hit him with her spiritual weapon as well.
All right, roll to hit with your spiritual weapon.
It almost sounded like a damn right I do.
All right, so that's 22, dirty 22.
That does hit.
And why isn't that damage? There we go. 4 for damage.
4 for damage. Okay. All right, very good. Idrin.
Did you say he was on fire?
He's surrounded by
He's party.
electricity. He's not on fire per se.
Electricity.
The electricity seems to be protecting him and healing him,
Right.
and also levitating him. Actually.
I'm gonna cast Firebolt.
Okay. Roll to hit.
Cast Firebolt.
Yep.
25 to hit.
That definitely hits. So your firebolt
Right.
goes zooming across the room and strikes him in the core, and he kind of shakes a moment, and you see it dissipate across his body, but he still takes some blast from it. How much damage do you do with this firebolt?
I did 5.
5.
5.
All right, very good. You got any other actions you want to do, Idrin?
Nope, end of turn.
No. Leith.
Sacred Flame, I think it's got to be again.
All right. He again fails to move aside.
Oh, you rolled a fail?
Yep.
Yep. So 2 points of damage.
2 points of damage.
Wow. I will
That is
take a bonus action though.
Yep.
Can I healing light myself?
I don't see why not.
It does say creature you can see within 60 feet. So
Yeah, well, that includes you. You can see
I
yourself.
can see myself.
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna do 2d6 of healing on myself.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
6 points.
6 points. All right, Leith. Milford, would you like to take another arrow?
Yep.
All right, roll to hit, please.
Mm-hmm. Bloody hell. I'm lost my bow. Oh, here it is. 12.
12. That arrow, sadly, gets thrown aside by the electricity that is zapping around Hamir's corpse presently. And it's cast to the floor somewhere opposite Adric's axe. So, yeah,
Okay.
sadly that does not do anything. Any bonus actions you want to try? Go
I'm
on.
gonna go round behind him.
All right. You gonna jump on him? You gonna jump on, right? Yeah. No.
No.
Okay. Damn it. All right. Good Adric. Good Adric.
I have muted myself. Adric is going to.
So that was your action, was it?
become... Yes, to unmute.
Yes.
Adric's going to step forward and go giant, and pick up his remaining hand axe and huck it at this large gentleman.
All right.
Or
Roll.
floating gentleman. Let's see if it does the thing.
Roll to hit.
That is a 16 to hit.
16 to hit. That does hit.
Fantastic.
Indeed,
Let's
it
see damage. That's
finds purchase. It passes through the electricity, through the trickery. Yes.
cool.
And what
And that
did
is
you?
a total of 9 damage.
Ooh, 9 points of damage. Okay. Very good. Okay. And
Adric's going to also take his action surge.
okay. So you're going to roll to hit
Because
again.
I'm completely out of... I'm going to... all I've got left is my Warhammer. And I'm... Actually, no. I'm going to take action surge, and Adric's going to pull a flask out of his pack. A flask of holy water. And he is going to run up and dump it onto Kamia's corpse.
Okay. All right.
I don't know what kind of roll that would be.
Well, that's going to be an athletics roll and then a roll to hit.
Cool. Athletics. That is a total of a dirty 20.
Nice. Yeah. No problem.
And then to hit... Oh, okay, so that's that one. Oh, that's an 11. We don't like that.
Yeah. You cast the holy water at him. How many charges does this flask hold?
In my equipment thing, it just says holy water flask quantity 1. So just the one thing, I believe.
Okay. All right. Unfortunately, you cast it at him, and it just sort of hits the electricity, and this steams off him.
It's all right, guys. He's not evil.
Right. Correct. All right. At that point, Hamir turns to all of you, and he begins to make this sound that comes up out of his chest. It sort of begins to howl, and it begins to fill the chamber, and it begins to hurt your ears quite a lot. This kind of... It just gets higher and higher. I'm not going to even try to make this sound until everything is just almost vibrating around you at this high pitch. You can all make a saving throw. It will be a wisdom saving throw.
Hang on. I've got to get back.
Merciful 14.
21. Yes.
Oh, yeah, Leith.
Yay, Leith.
I got a total of 10 with Gadale's Bless.
Nice. Okay, well,
Oh, bugger.
all right. Leith and Goodale, you are not paralyzed.
I am having trouble.
Okay. So,
Sorry.
at that point, so what was Edrin? Yours was an 8. That's terrible. Okay.
Total of 10.
Total of 10. Yeah, okay. In any case, still, it's a bad fail.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm waiting for
I
Milford.
got 13.
13. 13 does not quite cut it. Unfortunately, you are all paralyzed except for, who did I say? Leith and Goodale. So it is now Leith's turn.
We got to get all of these folks out of here. Oh shit. I don't know what to do here.
Electricity is now arcing around your friends too now, Leith.
The ones that are paralyzed.
Yes. It's beginning to seek them out and wrap itself around them.
So only me and Goodale are the ones that are
That are
not
free at this point, yeah.
free of it. Oh shit.
At this point, though, Leith, can you make a perception check?
Yep.
I know.
8.
Okay. Okay, Leith, you're a bit distracted by everything going on around you. Okay.
Uh, um.
Okay.
What do we do?
All right. So you forfeit your turn. Is that what I'm hearing?
Basically, hang on.
Unless
I,
you want to. Yep.
I don't want to touch any of them to drag them out of here, and I don't want to leave them behind. And oh, Goodale,
Is our entire body, including our ability to talk, paralyzed?
Yes, it is.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
All right, Goodale, your turn. What would you like to do?
Who am I closest to?
You're closest to Adric right now.
Okay. So I reach out and I cast Lesser Restoration on him.
All right. Okay, and I believe that cures him of a condition. Is that right?
Yes.
And
Yep.
one of the conditions that it will work will be paralysis, if I'm not
Correct.
wrong.
Yep.
Okay, so Adric, you've just been cured of your paralysis, and it is in fact your turn because you're next in the initiative line. Unless
Sorry, I was a
unless
bit
Goodale has a
rude.
bonus action she would like to use immediately.
Oh, I would love to hit him with my spiritual weapon again, if I may.
Please do roll to hit.
Okay. Mm.
12. That
12.
actually does hit.
Okay.
And do your damage.
Damage 3, 5.
Okay. All right, very good. Okay, cool. When the spiritual weapon hits him, Goodale, you notice that it chops into him, and this kind of gaping wound is ripped open in his corpse, and this white light comes pouring out of that hole, and you can see this sort of solid darkness within him at that point that seems to be at his core somehow. It's almost like the inside of his corpse is being transformed from within. But your weapon has done a serious amount of damage to him at this point. And it is now Adric's turn.
Adric's going to move to pick up his closest hand axe,
All right?
and he's going to throw it at Hamir.
All right. No problem. Roll to hit.
Man, that's the 15.
Okay, so you roll to grab your hand axe and you cast it at Hamir and it lodges in his side. Roll your damage.
Hooray! That's...
Okay, Adric, whereabouts would you like it to hit him, actually?
I think I'm going to throw it... I'm going to see the open wound that Goodale has done, and I'm going to aim to try and take advantage of it and cleave that further in twain.
Right. So the hand axe goes flying at him. It passes through that open gash and literally severs his spine, and his corpse splits in half and falls back to the floor as the electricity bursts out of him and dissipates across the room in this large burst. Dust bursts up in the air. Everybody's paralysis is now released. And the corpse lands back on the ground in its previous state of, well, it's now even more damaged than it ever was.
Adric's going to walk over to the corpse. He's going to pick up the two pieces in his hands, and he's going to trudge up the stairs by himself.
Okay.
To sequester it away.
All right. So you take the two limp pieces of meat and bones and gore that were once Hamir, and you take them up the stairs out of this chamber until you get to the crevasse, I assume.
Not quite the crevasse. Like the chamber just prior to that, where remember where we were with all the other giants before we got to the vizier's area. Just
With
there.
the skulls in the wall.
Yeah, with the skulls in the wall. I'm going to place him there.
Okay.
Because as frustrated as I am at this man that will not die, he's still useful.
Okay. All right.
So I'm going to leave him there.
All right.
I'm
So
going
you...
to return.
Okay. Very good. You do that. What are you guys doing while he's doing this? The electricity.
Going back to that book.
Short resting, may I suggest?
Don't go back to the book. Shut the damn book and do it later. In a safe
There
place.
won't be a later.
But there will be a later.
Will there? Can you guarantee
There
that there will be a
There
later?
will be. Please don't touch the book no more. My mother, if I knew who she was, asked you to do this. My father asked you to do this. My in-laws ask you to do this. Don't touch the book no more.
Edrin, you're a man of magic. Is there anything we could do to put the book to sleep or something?
Don't think so. Unless it's classified as a creature, that would be quite hard. I think we kind of just need to ensure that there's no dead bodies near it.
Yeah, but God knows
that's
what
kind of-
else he can do.
That's kind of in line with what I think is what has to do with this book. As Leith suggested, necromancy of the highest degree, which makes me want to study it even more, because I don't think if electrical hands are crawling out of it and bringing things back to life, I don't think ignoring this book is a very smart idea.
Elise, do you have any more premonitions about this book? Anything else coming to you?
I'm not sure I'd really want to put my mind too close to that book.
Yeah, but what about your little friend, you know?
My little friend, what?
You know, Mr. Horsey.
Well, he's told me to trust my instincts, and my instincts say to stay away from the book.
Oh. Okay. Good idea, but
But I do think if Mr. Edrin thinks he has it under control, that we should perhaps rest and let him have a read. Because if we head back up to the back up to the city and we get attacked again, we're in trouble.
I'm with him.
Yes.
We'll post guards and stuff.
I'm perfectly willing to stay awake and keep an eye out for the duration.
All right then.
How
we'll
long
take-
a rest are we taking? Are we taking an hour, or are we taking a? Are we going to?
We should
sleep
take a
down here?
long rest.
Right.
Do you think so, people? No.
That would give me more time as well to study it a bit more.
That's right. That's the all important thing then.
At this
Will
point,
you get?
Edric walks in and goes, "Well, if you were wanting to move that book on my back, that's not happening today. Not after I had to embiggen. So, a longer rest is in order. Then
I think that's a good idea.
Yes, if it means we can move the book, which I'm not sure is the wisest idea, but if it is needed, then yes.
It would be wise not to leave this. This book isn't necessarily something I'd want to leave to its own devices or to the devices of other people. If it's with us, at least we know where it is, what it's doing. And if bad things happen, then at least we're around to at least try put it down. But if we leave it down here and we leave Vaingate, if we come back in a couple of months, the whole town could be rubble.
anybody could find this. If nothing else,
Exactly.
I believe we should ensure that we place it somewhere where there are trustworthy people around it.
Hmm.
Very least somewhere it can be locked away and hidden. Down here, as dangerous as it is, any fool could walk across it. I mean, just look at us.
Quite.
Mr. Glass might know what to do with it.
Hey, you seem to have I'm sure you have a connection upstairs that could help us put this somewhere it won't be found again.
Leaf, you reckon if we get the chance you could get to talk to them?
To who?
Mr. Glass.
Oh, almost certainly.
Oh, Okay. We'll leave that in your capable hands then.
Uh, um, yes. Goodale, do you think that he would be all right with looking after the daughters? Would be all right with looking after the book?
I'm sure the daughters would love to study the book. They probably have the spells and the equipment to protect themselves as well.
Well, this is true.
All right, rest time
Re-
and back
yes,
out in the morning.
yes, rest
Yeah.
would be very good.
Brilliant.
Long
Perception
resting.
checks, please.
Perception checks before we long rest.
As you are setting up your camp.
Okay, that's a before.
Mighty 11. 12.
22.
Thank God for me.
13.
23.
Wow.
What do you mean? Thank God for me.
I mean,
rolled a
thank.
bit-
If we foresee, oh, yeah, I may have seen it when the
12.
Ah,
All right. Okay.
12 for Mr. Brixton.
Edrin and Goodale. You think you catch a whiff of a smell that you haven't smelled for a few days, but when you last smelled it, it was very distinct. And it was the smell of fresh, dead spider, or possibly something related.
Oh my.
Oh no. Edrin, do you smell? Does anyone smell that?
Yeah,
What?
it smells a little bit too. It smells, yeah.
The smell of death, which is not a good thing with our
It seems to be,
present situation.
it's coming from the direction where you encountered the ogres that one time.
that smells quite earthy.
I just smell gold.
And there is a lot of gold, Adric, a lot of it.
It has a very distinct cloying aroma.
I think we keep an eye on it and have as much as we can down here before we take our losses.
Aye,
Very well.
that's a good idea. I'm not inclined to chase whatever is making something that's overpowering the smell of gold.
So I think we lay low, we try keep light and noise to a minimum.
Use the book as a tent.
I can't recommend that. I would not recommend sleeping under that thing.
What's the worst that could happen?
Did you not
I
see the
gestured
floating
to
body up the
Hamir.
top?
So
I was distracted throughout that entire fight up until I cut him in half.
That's fair.
We're not gonna use it as a tent.
Have you never been in a library and you looked at a book and it was kind of on its face and go, wouldn't that be comfortable to sleep under? I have.
No.
No, usually the chairs in the libraries that I've been in have been pretty comfortable for that kind of thing. But reading in a library is a much better idea generally, I find. Yes.
But I wouldn't
Gidale,
keep... Yes, Mr. Brixton.
have you got anything that deals with the undead? Like, you know.
I have been searching through my current spells, and no, I don't think I do.
Milford, as you're having this conversation, can you make me a perception check, please, Milford?
Really? I'm not good at perception. Don't give me perception.
You should be.
Not judging by that, I'm not.
By what?
4.
A 4.
Okay.
Never mind.
You distracted with whimsy sleeping under a
Alright.
book like a field mouse.
Sigh.
I think
Well,
yeah,
I'm
let's get resting.
tired.
Milford's
Yes,
just tired. All right.
I'll do as much as I can tonight before I need to sleep.
I basically can't long rest until everybody else is long resting, because I don't sleep. So, just
Right,
please,
yes.
everybody, go to sleep. Thank you.
Okay.
Shut the book.
Before we sleep, Adric and everyone's doing their thing, and Leith is sighing in a corner as he sees Adric waddle over to Goodale. Excuse me, Goodale. I didn't mean to disturb you before you slept. You don't sleep, do you?
No, I'm Goodale's getting out her paint box. She's going to do a paint trance tonight.
That's fucking cool.
I'm going to give you inspiration for paint trances. That's a cool idea.
I won't be long, but I just wanted to say you were really quite something up against the Shisuva, and well, that was a mighty fine kill. And I noticed that you don't carry any trophies on you, so I'm inclined to believe that was your first demon. Well, I mean, not like everyone goes out and slays demons every day. Oh, got my first demon. Look, I got its head here. Nobody does that. But that's momentous, and it should be marked by something. So, this I found a quill on the ground, and I made something for you. And he pulls out a shard of one of the Shisuva's quills, and it's a necklace. And he's likely while in giant form, he bent one of Queen Clarissa's coins around the quill, so that it held the necklace cord in place. So it's just quill, coin, thread. It's not exactly beautiful, but it's something, and he hands it to her.
Oh.
This was a bit of the Shisuva cord. I wove myself from my beard. You may want to wash that. And well, you don't need to know how I got the coin to do that, but it's one of Clarisca's, and I want this to be a reminder of you, if you and I don't venture further together, about the time you killed a Shisuva and the great deeds that you've done in Vaingate in my company. So,
Oh,
a little token.
Adric, I am truly touched. You're right, that was my first demon. I don't know what to say.
Just thank you and good night. That'll do.
Thank you and good night.
And
May you rest well.
I shall, mostly. He waddles off again.
Okay.
All right. Very good. Very good, very good.
Before Milford goes to sleep, he's going to do a circuit of the area.
Oh, well, he gets to roll another perception check.
Watch this then.
Are you people not going to go to sleep tonight?
17.
I'm heavy-eyed reading the book as much as I can.
Milford, you, as you're wandering around...
I don't wander. I stealthily move in grace and...
Okay, but you're taking your time, is that right?
Yes, I'm looking properly and, just
Right.
making sure everything looks the same as it should.
All right. So, can you make a perception check for me, please? With advantage.
I just did that, 17.
Oh, with 17. Oh, that's right. You did. Okay. Oh, very good. So you notice among the treasure as you're wandering around, a couple of little bits of treasure that you sort of hadn't noticed before, because there's so much treasure in this room that it's overwhelming. And you've been here 2 or 3 times now, right?
Yeah.
And for the most part, those huge Annam Strike coins, these massive gold coins that are the size of tables, seem to sort of generally take your breath away. And the book has taken a lot of your attention as well lately. But as you're
Yes.
wandering around, you begin to notice a couple of other things amongst the treasure too. And first of all, you notice that there's some jewelry, and among the jewelry, you see this ring that really takes your something about it just kind of strikes you. It has this blue jewel in it, a sapphire. In fact, it has 9 sapphires rimmed around it, and it's not giant-sized; it's human-sized. And you also see a crown that's wedged among some other stuff. It looks a lot harder to get to, this crown.
I'm listening.
Yeah,
Harder to get to this crown.
yeah. So there's a crown and a ring that you have seen as you go wandering about the chamber, much to Leith's chagrin.
Hey, Leaf.
Yes, Milford. You should be getting some rest.
There's a crown and a ring over here. You want to have a look?
Oh. Yeah.
And it's not giant size either.
Oh. Let's have a look then.
See, I knew you'd be interested.
Well-
How would you like me to go to sleep?
Well, I don't need it. You do.
That's true, lad.
I'll watch them overnight, and we'll try and figure out what they are. But you get some rest.
Okay, have a good night then.
Yes, you too.
All right, so Milford, you're going to go and rest?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to take a long rest. So everybody finally takes a long rest, and you can click your long rest buttons
Yay!
because nothing happens in the next 8 to 9 hours.
Damn.
Now Leith gets to talk to his pony friend,
Oh,
not
nice.
us.
Yeah, this
Long
is Leith's special
rest.
time.
Long wrist button.
No, Leith is examining just as his restful action is examining the crown and the what was the other thing?
A ring.
A ring,
Yep.
and seeing if he can figure out what they might be without putting them on. Or
Right. Okay, well, do you want to make some Arcana checks and some history checks and such? So
multiple?
we'll start with history checks. 2 history checks, 1 for each of those items.
Yep. First one's an 8,
Yep.
and second one is a natural 20.
Ooh, a natural 20. A natural 20. Uh-oh. Damn. Alright. The crown. The crown has an outline that you immediately you remember from books. You have seen pictures of this crown, and it's been lost since the dawn of time. It's been talked about. It's famous. It has a name. It's called the Crown of Ire. I mean, it could be a replica, to be fair. I mean, it might be a replica. But if it is a replica, then it's a very old replica.
But it was like unique, or was
yes.
there multiple crowns?
This is an artifact. If it is if it is what it's supposed to be, what you think it is, you've seen pictures of it, like these black and white etchings in books of this very rough, very primitive-looking crown that has these very spiky-looking things on it. And you got a natural 20, didn't you, for your history check?
Yeah.
You believe that he or she that wears this crown will command the dead. And it is said to have raised armies.
Okay. Do I know who wore it in the past, or?
Yeah. There's some dude called Zabasius Israel Darion, apparently. He wore it for a while.
Okay.
Someone whom Edrin hasn't mentioned at all yet.
so I wouldn't really know. But I've heard the name associated with this crown.
Completely separately, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You also know that Zebasius Israel Darion is supposed to be formerly the Arch Lich that, basically destroyed the Giants' empire at some point.
Mm.
I'm going to
Or was involved in that at least.
I'm going to go into a trance, or attempt to go into a trance and try to communicate with Tozen.
Okay. All right. Can you make an Arcana check, please?
Arcana. That's a 9.
Tozen, you have inklings that he is present in the most remote form right now. He seems to be unavailable at the moment. He's not answering the
leave a
line.
mes-
Yeah,
Please leave a message.
Yeah.
Well, the message I'll basically leave is like handling the crown and like just looking at it and showing it to him through my eyes.
You get the impression that Tozen notices this this vision that you're sending him, and rather than spending time talking to you about it, he seems to be immediately busy with some activity,
Okay.
as if it was of great import, but of such great import that he didn't have time to talk to you about it, like he had to report that to someone else or something like that.
Yep. Okay. I will wrap it up in some paper and put it in my bag.
Okay. Very well.
Along with does the ring give me any vibes or anything like that?
Did you make you failed the history check, didn't you?
Yeah.
Did you make an Arcana check on the ring?
No.
Okay, let's make an Arcana check on the ring.
Try that. 14.
Well, it certainly has magic inscriptions on it, and it seems to be in a very ancient. You believe it's some kind of Asturian tongue. You're not sure exactly what the deal is, but it's definitely got magic runes that you recognize. You don't know what they are, though.
Yeah.
You get a feeling that it's somehow water related. In fact, what did you say you rolled?
14.
14. Yeah.
14? I'll tell you what, you see one word on it, and it's got the name Rain written on the back of it. On the inside of the ring, it says Rain in ancient Elven,
Okay.
which may or may not have been its original name. It might have been inscribed since it was cast.
Because I don't know what it does, I will keep that stored in my bag as well.
Okay. Very well. So nothing else happens over the next 8 to 9 hours, unless anybody wants to do something. Everything is silent for that period.
I think after Gadale's done with her paint trance, she's going to get out her sword and do some forms.
Okay. All right then. Goodale, you too can make a perception check. Some forms. Strike pose. Don't
Some
just stand there.
shapes.
Strike pose. All right.
Making a perception check.
You are making a perception check.
Has Goodale got the letter?
Not yet.
Okay.
8.
An 8. Okay. You're concentrating on your forms. It makes perfect sense. All right. Very well. And then eventually you finish your long rest. Okay. Are we all good? Yep. No one's wants anything else. Yep. Cool.
Well, when I wake up, I would like to continue reading the second page of the book. As I said, I'd like to get as much research done down here as humanly possible.
All right. Can you make an Arcana
before we go
check?
back up? Arcana. Total of 20.
A total of 20. The second page of the book describes in what you're barely able to read it because of the archaic language, but you get the impression it's overall generally a description of an intro to a book that talks about the process of becoming an arch-lich. Talks about lichdom, talks about undeath, it talks about obtaining immeasurable power and controlling death itself.
All right. Okay.
Do I see Edrin waking up?
Yeah, I would think you do.
After I've observed him, like studying the next page of the book for a little bit, I'll say, Mr. Edrin, come over here.
Oh, yes, very good. I'll come right away. What is it? What seems to be the matter?
What are you finding out in the book?
Between you and me, it's very powerful necromantic things, beyond death sort of issues, achieving immeasurable power, immortality, rather dark things. You familiar with a being called Zabazius Israel Darian?
I won't say a word. I'll just reach into my bag and I'll pull out the crown.
Okay, so you can make a history check, please, Edrin.
Sure thing. Total of 8.
An 8. Okay, so you're probably not focusing very well on the crown, I suppose, right now. Your still head is in the book.
Yeah.
I believe this used to be his and can command an army of the dead.
Oh. Well, that book is also his, or is at least an account of his, and explains his, I guess, as a kind of a hand guide to becoming a lich.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and I think now you
do-
might understand my trepidation in leaving it behind.
Yes, that is probably a very good call. Do we know if, well, do you know if he ever succeeded in becoming a lich?
He is, at least from the accounts that I read,
Well,
either the most famous lich, either because he was very powerful, and or because he may have been the first.
well, surely if we take the book and his crown, he's going to come after us.
Yes, but if we split them up, that means at least, I mean, think about it like this: if he comes after us and he gets, if he is not specifically bound to these things and he is elsewhere and is on a potential rise back, which I hope not, coming after us and getting both items is a lot harder than coming after us and only getting one.
Milford,
and-
you're beginning to wake up at this point.
I guess that's, yes, a way of looking at it.
I mean, I think definitely splitting them up would be the best course of action, because at least then it'd be harder to get them both at the same time. However, this information is beyond, I think, beyond taboo. I don't think it should really exist. And then to just give it to a library of sorts might be.
Well, one that can probably keep it protected, not just from others,
True.
but from itself and its
But
own.
one with plenty of eyes, and he himself was a high elf. And I'm not meaning anything particularly about high elves, but if one can
Oh,
fall,
no,
another
no,
can.
no.
If one can fall, another can, and with us, there is 5 of us. That's 5 pairs of eyes who know about it and can look after it, and also mitigate the number of people who are falling under its power, giving it to an entire temple. I appreciate their ability to be able to possibly protect themselves from these things, but I don't know. I'm conflicted between giving them potential fuel to start a fire or giving it to a group of people who obviously probably know what they're doing more than us.
Well, do you have any thoughts on who we should take it to?
If anyone, the daughters. But
Yeah,
with these
I think you're right.
mages, with these mages in the town, the Berakyle, regardless of what happens to their envoy, we need to make sure that if it gets to the Daughters of Twilight, no one else knows about it. Because if the wizards know about it, they are going to be very, very, very interested.
Yes, and this potential Inquisitor man would be very, very interested in this.
Yes, considering all these wizards have some sort of power complex they need to fulfill. I don't know.
Yes, I do think Gadale will probably agree with us on this.
Goodale, what you're still doing forms, or you're in trance at this point? You're on mute right now.
At this point, I've been getting some breakfast ready for everyone.
Okay. So would you like to make a perception check to see whether or not you hear your name in the conversation?
Okay. I hear nothing.
Okay, you're
It's
concentrating.
a 6.
All right, you're busy cooking. Very good. Please continue, ladies and gentlemen. Milford, you're awake now. Yeah.
Oh, there's something good.
Adric, you were waking up.
Something to eat. Yeah? Ooh.
Adric surfaces out of from beneath a pile of gold. His back does not crack.
Okay. Very good. Very good.
Nothing quite like a nice, solid, shifting pile of gold to sleep on.
You slept well then.
Excuse me. If the gold is shifting, Edric, then it's not solid, is it? Because it's shifting.
The individual pieces of gold are solid, more solid than a bed. Now, the shifting is what gets the vertebrae to move. Usually I'd usually be sleeping on a pile of rocks. It's amazing for the lumbar system.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I'd highly recommend it. Those soft things, they'll twist you up like a bread snack.
Oh, I don't want to be twisted up like a bread snack.
Then you need to sleep on a pile of rocks. It's the only way.
Mr. Leith?
Yes, Mr. Edrin.
One more page, and then I think we should leave.
Agreed.
It's an introduction, and I think if there's anything on the next page about anything at all, but we don't want to be staying down here, especially with whatever we smelled last night. So over breakfast, I shall try to attempt
I've got
the
an
completion
idea.
of one more page.
Do you think we should leave the crown or and also this, and I'll pull the ring out as well.
Well,
Okay.
is that his as well?
History
Well,
check for you, Edrin.
Mr. Milford did find it with the crown, so I would assume so.
Natural 1 to a total of 7.
Wow.
Oh boy.
You've no idea what this ring is. It looks like it could be anything. It just could literally be anything. You're not stupid, so you know what it's not, but you don't know anything about what it is. It's just a gemmed ring, and you even miss the name on the inside of it unless Leith tells it to you.
We've got to get some material and wrap that damn book up, you know.
Yes.
That's a good idea.
One more page, and then I can rest
Go on.
easier in knowing a bit more about this book.
Edric,
Aye.
you're something of a carpenter, are you not?
I'm a stonemason, but I mean, stone's basically the trees of dirt, so I could, my tools aren't impossible to use for carpentry, but they're not specialized, so I could fashion something, but it's not an ideal thing.
I was just thinking, we keep mentioning that this book is the size of a table. If we could disguise it as a table, would it be easier to sneak it through the city to wherever it is that we want to move it?
Oh,
That's-
that girl is just.
It's not
You'd make a
terrible
good
idea.
thief, you know.
It's not a terrible idea. What might be somewhat, Russell, how thick is the book?
Pretty thick. It's about a foot and a half to 2 feet
dang it.
thick. I mean, it
And
could be a very thick table.
And how deep is my cart?
Your cart.
Yeah.
The cart outside it's flat. It's not deep.
Oh shit.
It has sides, I suppose, and it opens. There's a panel that opens at the back, I suppose. I guess you would say it's 2 feet deep if you looked at it in that perspective. Yeah, I guess so.
If we could get some wooden planks, we could lay it over the top of the book on my cart and create a false bottom. That until I can get some better materials. Actually, he's gonna look over at the ship.
The looming fingers of ship planks and various parts of the ships. The bones of this ancient relic are sticking out of the gold around you, casting shadows.
I've got all the wood I need right here. And if I were to beat some of these coins into roughly nail shape, we would be here for at least a couple days. To do that. I'm
Oh,
afraid.
we can't be here for a couple of days.
Why? It's beautiful. Like
No,
we
because-
have some light.
No,
coming
you
in.
don't want the
There's-
Inquisition to come,
We could
do
eat
you?
some
That...
moss off the walls. It's great. I could
Edric.
never live here.
Adric, shut up for a minute.
Beg
Listen,
your pardon,
lad.
Brixton.
We don't want the Inquisition to come, do we? That guy.
No,
what's
no,
his name?
I'm simply teasing. Don't you worry.
Oh.
No, I don't know if I could. It's good. It's good an idea as it is. I don't know if I could craft this large evil book into a table. The best we could do maybe is to wrap it in a tarp. I think.
I will, instead of reading the full third page, I will actually just spend time touching a page, skimming to see if I can see anything that might help make it a bit more mobile for us, and just do that
Ethan,
instead of
could you,
reading a full book.
could you not just place it on your floating, whatchamacallit, and we just do what we
Disc.
did with the treasure prior.
Yes, we could. We would need you to enlarge yourself to put it on. I'm thinking more in terms of if we need to make it a bit more portable in case
I see.
something bad goes awry, which in our case seems to be every single day. So
We're overdue, really.
yes, we are actually. So I might just skim to see if there's anything in this book that makes it a bit more. Because if he was a high elf, and although to be honest, if it's written a story, and this might be a bit more of a giant's account of a half elf rather than a high elf, rather than
it's an historian.
Jim,
Why didn't you say so? I could read through this.
Yes, I'm not entirely sure that's the greatest of ideas at this moment in time. It's
What's
not
the
a
worst that could
very
happen?
undeath.
Lots of things, Mr. Edric. I would not read of it. Please.
I bow to your wisdom. Well, okay.
It's more I am more cautious about something happening to your mind.
No, that's
In
that's
case
a
there's
very
something
fair
within it.
concern. very fair concern. I have too much
Well,
to do.
couldn't we put it on? No.
All right.
How about this? I'll deadlift the book, and you, in my current shape, I want to try preserve my transformation as much as I can, because I feel like today's going to be a big day. And you slip the disc underneath, and we'll just leave it on somehow.
That
And then
sounds
what I
good.
could do is I could nail some of the planks from that on top of it, and it's not alive, right? It won't scream. I could just bang some nails into the jacket, and it could be book table adjacent.
Its eyes did move when we first
Oh.
looked at it, so I'm
Oh,
not sure
well, you
entirely
know.
if it would scream, bleed, electricity-us. It's a good try. I wouldn't want to
so-
go near it.
Okay, so first idea, I'll deadlift. You get the thing underneath. Then you all scurry behind something, and I'll put a nail inside and see what happens.
Sounds good. I would very much still just like to have a skim, just to see if we can make it more portable.
Yeah, go ahead. We've got breakfast to do. Good ale.
Right.
What a handsome necklace you've got there.
Why, thank you, Adric.
Okay.
Oh, did you paint?
Oh, yes, I did last night, but it's mostly all packed away.
Oh, didn't know you were talented in the arts in that regard, rather.
It's more of a meditative practice that I do.
Fair enough. Yes, I'm going to skim.
Okay.
Like
Can
I've
you
never scammed before.
make an Arcana check, please, Edrin. Arcana check from Edrin Monkoff, please.
Oh, every time it's almost on the B. Total of 8. When
Okay.
your Arcana is a +6, but that doesn't help.
Yeah, you don't see anything in the book offhand that seems the vaguest bit useful.
Right.
In fact,
Deadlift time.
Deadlift time. And Adric's he's gonna, knees up against the book, like put good deadlift posture, straight back, fingers underneath, and he's gonna stand up straight. All right, go. Get the thing there, please.
Tensor's disc.
Thank you, Tensor. You marvelous whatever you were. And
I'm going to do a ritual casting, so it takes 10 minutes. Choking. I say that before it instantly appears.
Oh, Eden, if you weren't such a good drinking partner.
Alright.
Cool. All right, let me go. It's go and get some wood, and I'll see if this thing feels anything.
Alright.
Very good. It was
So-
an impressive display of muscle, Adric.
You're too kind.
So what is Adric doing at this point?
So I'm going to rip some planks out of the ship, and I'm going to arrange them on top of the book's face. So while I won't build a table around it, I'll cover the face. So it at a first glance, it's just a very poorly made table. And then I'm going to get one of my hammers and a nail, and I'm going to just whack it into the book and the wood.
So you're going to put a nail in the book.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh no!
What's the nail made of?
God, let me look in my. I've got a mason's. I've got a stake. That's not really quite enough. Hammer.
Do you have like a
your
piton or
attention.
something like that?
Does anyone have a piton I could borrow?
Milford, you have
Yes.
pitons.
I'm not giving him any of my pitons.
Are there any nails still attached to the plank that I could just kind of arrange?
Wait
and
a
smack
minute, wait a minute. I'll get my
Give me one of your daggers.
You know that thing I use for climbing?
Yeah, your
Piton?
climbing claws.
Yeah,
Claws?
climbing claws. What are you planning to do?
Alright, so what I'm going to do is, you see when I've arranged this plank? What I'm
Yeah.
going to do is, right at these corners along the edge, I'm going to put a nail there, whack it through it, and fasten the plank to the face of the book, so that at a first glance it would just appear like a very poorly made, eccentric table.
Are you trying to kill us or something?
It's. Do you want
No,
this
no,
to?
no,
do
no,
you want
wait
this
a-
to be
Wait
disguised
a
as a
minute.
book?
Wait
Or
a
not?
minute.
I mean, as a table or not?
Let's all give it some thought, shall we?
We've been
Now-
thinking about this for quite a while.
No, you're not gonna put nails in the damn thing.
It looks like it'd be into it.
I said no. I don't often argue with you, you know that.
You argue
Now,
plenty with me.
please don't put nails in the damn thing.
I'm not sure that putting anything through the book would be a good idea. I do actually agree with Mr. Brixton on this.
I've got a plan.
Like, table suggestion is off the table, so to speak.
I've got a plan.
Table suggestion about the table is off the table.
Would you
Aye.
Yes.
all shut up
It's,
for
it's
5
shelved.
minutes?
The table suggestion is
You
shelved for
Dale,
now.
could you shut
Let's
them
put a
up?
table in it. Let's just put a table in it.
You Dale, could you shut them up for 5 minutes? Okay, now we're gonna take your idea, we are, but we're gonna do a little bit of a different thing. Now, have we got? Now I've got this. Oh, I've forgotten the name of the damn thing. It's the thing I hook when I climb.
Your
Your
climbing
climbing
claws, a grappling hook.
I get the ropes that I have
Grappling-
and ask them for
Grappling hook.
The ropes. Yeah, that's one. I get the ropes that I have, okay, and I get you to put some. I'm not a builder. Wooden things from the boat
Slats underneath it, so it's like a
that
sling.
are slightly bent.
Yeah,
So take it from the side of the boat, so it's slightly bent.
Adric does so.
Okay. All right. Now what we do is we tie the ropes
Aye.
along them. Okay, straight along, so they're like skis almost.
I see what you're saying. And then
And-
Adrian could, like, sit on top and read as we go.
And then we push the book on to where the rope is and the skis are between them. Okay?
Good idea.
So we're not utilizing the disc.
No, keep
Oh,
the disc
we
in
are,
place, 'cause
we
then I can
are,
get-
we
I can get
are.
the wood underneath.
Because the disc is going to be underneath the skis and the rope. So that it'll lift it and move it slightly. I wish I was the builder. I could explain this a whole lot better.
It's a book sled, and I'm just pulling it like a mule.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a book sled. Very good. Okay.
Lovely.
I
Well,
was trying to think about what we were actually making, and I was like,
if one were to imagine a movie
get you.
montage where Brixton was saying all of this, and as he was speaking, Adric was doing the thing as if at the end of a very lengthy discussion about this
Like
construction of the sled.
magic.
Yes, and finally at the end, Adric has yoked himself to the book. It's like, all right, now we're ready to go.
Right, and you're going to make a skill check, Adric.
some Ocean's 11 jazz.
I assume somebody's helping him though, so you should get advantage.
Okay,
when I pictured this, I just imagined Brixton sitting on the book with a whip.
Yeah!
All right,
I
let's
know.
make a masonry skill check or a carpentry skill check. I mean, actually, it should be carpentry. You don't have carpentry though, do you?
I don't. I have Mason's tools.
So I think it will be a naked skill check,
Okay.
but it will be with advantage.
Okay. So, God, what skill?
I
am
will
just doing
help
with
him
my
make it because I
proficiency?
know what it is.
Dexterity.
Dexterity. Fantastic. With advantage. Thank God I've got a +0 to dexterity. That is a 17.
All right, so you build a pretty good book sled, and this takes an hour.
In the meantime, I imagine Edrin's trying to like read from between the pages as we're working.
Right. So Adrian,
Let
what
me look at page 3.
page 3 seems to be the beginning of an outline of a description about how he had to go on this massive quest to find all of these things, components for spells, and a lot of philosophical meandering also is included in there as well. Yes.
Sounds like my kind of meander.
Yes.
Can you pull this with a little bit of rubbish on top of the book?
I'm fairly certain that I could pull at least one of you with something on top of it. Not, Brixton, if you're wanting to bring some gold on top of this, we've plenty, and we've got a boat to steal. We
I'm
don't
not
need any more
talking
gold
about
for now.
gold. I'm just gonna put some rubbish on it so it covers the book.
Oh,
Is
I
there
see, I
any
see.
kind of material left from the wrapping that I once did?
Any kind of material left? Unfortunately, no. I rolled a natural 1. They are entirely destroyed, gone, or missing.
Okay.
All right, all of you, bring me your bedrolls. We're going to put our bedrolls over the top of this.
Yep.
Oh, very quick thing before we go. I'm going to go amongst the gold and pick up the key that I found. That is that big foot-long key that has the 6 gems along the shaft.
Lock
Right.
it.
I carry it and I rather shamefully, I found this. Here it is. I think we should probably take it with us. Maybe someone else carry it. It's my back is Leith, you take it. Ah!
What am I
Your
carrying?
back,
here?
you say?
A
Adric says
1 foot
something.
It's a
long.
large key.
Oh,
To the book, is it?
Yeah.
the book key.
yes.
Lock the damn thing, will ya?
I think that would be a good idea while we travel.
Yes, thank you, Leith. Ah!
And I'll
Leith,
go,
you
go to
muscly
the
beastie,
book.
hold on to that key.
I'll go and lock the book, and then I'll put the key in my bag. Oh, or is it too big to put in my bag?
It's like a foot long, made out of metal with gems on it.
You could sling it across
Basically a
your
crowbar.
back if you roped it to your back or something
I'll
like
put
that.
it. I'll put it.
Or you could put your arm through the
I
handle.
think
of
I've got some string. Have I got some string?
string. You need
You'll
some
have like
rope,
50
probably.
feet of hempen rope.
It need rope. It's heavy.
Surprisingly, Leith doesn't carry things like hempen rope.
I do.
I'm genuinely
however.
surprised.
Edric, I am in envy of your physicality.
Oh, well, you know.
Okay,
I'm
let's
not particularly special amongst the dwarves.
I believe Goodale is having a
but
bit of a
you're
lie
special to
down.
me.
Oh, I'll
okay,
pick
well-
up Goodale.
On top of the book,
It
let's
can't
go.
be that heavy.
Mr. Brixton, do you have any string on you? I just want to be able to put this across my back.
You won't be able to put it
Oh,
across
no.
your back with string.
I'll just so the things on my backpack, the straps, I'll just like put the key down my back between those straps and just tighten them a bit.
Okay.
That should hold, and I'll put it under the cloak that I'm wearing
Okay.
so that it can't be seen.
Okay.
You had the perfect opportunity to Kingdom Hearts Keyblade this, and you didn't.
Yeah, I don't really want this one to be seen.
Fair point.
Mm.
All right, cool. So
Probably
now that
not wise.
Goodale's- What are we doing with Goodale?
Can I get you to make an intelligence check, please, Leith?
An intelligence check.
Yep.
I can do that, and it's a 9.
Okay. Well, you don't think of anything particularly interesting. Nah, 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 nah. So there.
Well, I wasn't expecting to think of anything interesting.
Well,
Yeah,
you're not
yeah,
going
yeah.
to. So there. I was hoping you would say that.
I know I'm not the brightest, but can I try and think of something interesting?
You can try.
Okay.
Everybody can try to think of something interesting.
I can't.
I can't.
I'm stupid, I can't.
I just don't have the imagination to think of it.
No, I can't.
Imagination Fairy never visited me when I was young.
I can't.
Never mind then.
All right, cool. So are we loading Goodale on top of the book? And I'm just going to drag...
No, we're not.
Hang on a second. Edric,
Hey?
what did you say that made the belt shrink?
I didn't say anything. I just... Oh, I said Annam.
Annam, Leith, say Annam.
Why should I say Enum?
Just say
Let's just do a little bit of an experiment. Just
I
say
just-
it. Just say
well,
Annam.
Didn't
Well, you've
I
already
just-
said Annam, technically, haven't you?
Well, didn't I just say it? What
Has the
for?
key changed? It was worth a try.
No,
Let's
that-
continue.
Who's going to
Enum
carry
is,
Goodale?
Enum is the coins.
I'm carrying
Annam
Goodale.
is the chief giant deity.
I'm carrying Goodale.
Oh, yes.
Fantastic. Let's go.
Looks
So
left.
Milford's carrying Goodale, is that right?
Yes.
Milford, make an athletics check.
Oh.
Jeez.
10.
You take about 4 steps before you realize how pointy her armor is.
Okay. Can I...
Would you like some help, Mr. Brixton? I'm afraid I can't take over, but I'm more than happy to take the other half.
All right.
Okay, you
I'll
take-
do
you
what I
take
can.
The legs, I'll take the...
All right. Roll with advantage, please,
Legs.
Barry. Athletics.
I'll take the legs.
Okay.
Edric, don't forget about the two halves of Hymir.
That's all right. Oh, he's already been sequestered. Oh, I see what you mean. No, I get you.
Oh, that's a bit
21.
more like it. All right. So now you managed to get Goodale moving. Right. And where are you going?
Heading back to the surface.
Okay. So you're heading back to the surface. Well, first of all, you get to the crevasse halfway up the tunnel that leads to the surface. The 15-foot wide crevasse.
we made a bridge, remember?
Yeah, the two plank slats should still be there, unless they've been deliberately moved by someone or something.
Well, as it happens,
No.
there is in fact a small structure there now.
Oh, that's right, because we had got some guys building a bridge.
Yeah. So
Look
you
at that.
cross.
Good things do happen to good people.
So you cross the crevasse and you arrive at the surface, and you come out into the. You sort of stagger out and discover that it's actually the middle of the night at this point.
Perfect.
Cool air greets your skin as you step out under the remnant moons of Sidarahel in Vaingate. You see there's a couple of figures standing around you. They nod. The hooded robed figures.
Gentlemen.
One of them steps
Ladies.
forward and waves the others aside. So you've returned then. You certainly took your time.
I was. Things didn't go as smoothly as we thought it might.
I was getting to the point where I was about ready to come down after you.
Well, you would have come when we were just cleaning up, I'm sure. No, don't you worry. I will see that we do have one very, very dire bit of business I'm going to take care of before we move to the next step of the excavation.
What's the next step of the excavation? I thought we were cleaning this whole thing up now and getting out of here.
Aye.
Oh, who's this?
That's
this is
precisely the next step of the excavation he's
Aye,
talking
cleaning
about.
up.
Right.
Is the circle of people listening in on us?
They don't appear to be. Seem to have retreated now that Xandor has stepped in.
Regardless, I'm gonna go up close to Xandor and just whisper to him. You see this here pile of rubbish that I'm pulling behind me like a pack animal?
Yes, what do you have in there? Something important, I hope.
Exceptionally. Do you remember us talking about a book?
That's it.
Made out of skin.
That's it?
Aye. And
All right,
we
let's
didn't
get out of here.
Yeah, we need to put it somewhere very safe. It raised a certain corpse after we had done away with it
I see.
on its own, unbidden.
Someone by the name beginning with H, I suppose.
It's someone we are not all particularly fans of.
I see. So no great loss there. It was somewhat planned. But you say it raised the corpse.
Well, it was after we had cleaned up, so to speak.
This is very interesting.
Right.
All right, well, we've
So-
got some carts here. Get it on one of the carts.
Edric pulls it up by the ropes gingerly.
All right, and further around the corner as you come out into the clearing, Xandor turns and he gets one of his people to come over and he says, "Go and get me 8 of the wasted. Bring them here from the other side." "Yes, my lord," says one of the wizards, and they retreat off into the darkness. "We'll have it out of here quickly. Now, my question to you is, where do you want to take this thing? Because I'm not sure I would put my trust in keeping it at the Barakyle Envoy. As I told you, Vorbis Dal Renaz is going to be here in a matter of probably hours. And when he gets here..."
Well, let us go now.
Our thinking is to move it to the systems of Twilight.
The Daughters
something
of
so
Twilight?
No, that's the daughters. Excuse me. Yes, the such a holy place. It's probably the only place an artifact like this.
Let's not talk about it. Let's do it.
Let's. I agree. Let's go.
All right, then. So, long story short, Xandor gets his people, his wasted, to come, and they assist to get the corpse, and not the corpse, the book, which kind of is a corpse in a funny kind of way, onto the back of one of the carts, and you move it to Grenaldea from Ludivar. So you travel through the Barakyle Envoy and out through Asterion, through the Asterion Gate. You cross one of the 3 main bridges in the Droob and up to Kavnarum, and then to the back of the Daughters of Twilight. When you get to the Daughters of Twilight, and Xandor is with you now. And you get to the back entrance to the sally port that leads into the underground complex where Milmore Glass, the quartermaster of the Daughters of Twilight,
This
resides.
is where you come in, Leaf.
Oh.
Explain everything to Mr. Milmore, Mr. Glass here.
It looks like your friend is waking up.
Yes.
So, Goodale, you wake up on the back of a cart, on top of a thinly disguised book, travelling through the Droob to Kavnarum and onwards to the Daughters of Twilight's Solanor Temple in Vaingate. Are you still muted? Yes, you're muted.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. And
Are
do
you
I?
all right?
Yes, I am. Thank you. I'm terribly sorry. It always happens at the worst times. So you got everything going?
Everything's going according to plan.
Fabulous.
Well, sort of, yeah.
Well, a minor diversion.
Time
Do
out.
I recognize everybody?
Yes, and you're with Xandor Rem, and he's the only other one with you at the moment.
Okay.
And
Excellent work.
he seems more nervous than usual. So this is the who is it that we're going to meet here exactly?
Milmore Glass.
And who is? Tell me again. Who is Milmore Glass?
He is the quartermaster for the Daughters of Twilight.
Right. Okay. All right.
And
Well, I suppose we.
He has great knowledge on things like this.
Very well. Oh, well, you better show us the way in then. And with that, you head on in, and you find yourselves down in below the archives of the Daughters of Twilight, and outside Milmore Glass's office. The door opens, and you are shown in, and I assume you have this book brought before him.
Yes.
As you
Do you think we should leave? How do you think we should handle it?
I think Mr. Glass needs to know, and the daughters should be looking after these artifacts.
Do you think Mr. Glass will be the best person at the temple, or should we try to get maybe Ilanthra?
Uh,
No, he'll know what to do. He'll
Oh,
know what to do, who to
okay.
take it to.
I'm
I'm
just
pretty
gonna
sure.
I'm just gonna take Goodale aside and say, what do you think? Would Mr. Glass be maybe working for others or too corrupt for this?
I'm only thinking of his reputation as an arcane trickster.
Well, yes, he is involved in the deal, so
True, you're right. I'm sure it will be
maybe we
fine.
should take this higher up the chain.
Do you have any premonitions about it?
Not really.
No.
No, I do trust Mr. Glass, but I'm not sure to what extent around. Well, how long has he been actually, Russell?
Mm.
Do I know how long Milmore's been working for the Daughters for?
For as long as you've known the daughters, for as long as you've been involved with them.
Which isn't all that long.
Not all that long.
Okay.
Could
Certainly, he seems to have been a fixture in the Solanor Temple for some time, probably 50 years or more.
Mm-hmm.
could Goodale and Leith make a wisdom check?
So, through your conversation, to try and figure out whether or not he's a reputable character for this particular situation.
Trustworthy
Yes.
enough to give the book. and-
Okay, you can either make separate wisdom checks, or you can choose to help one or the other of you.
Okay.
What's your?
What's your wisdom bonus, Goodale?
I've got a 2.
I've
So
got a
plus
2 as
2.
well, so
Okay,
yeah.
so either one of you can make a check, or you can both make a check.
you can take the check, Joe. Joe,
Okay.
you
All right,
wanna
so you're rolling with advantage, Joe.
advantage.
Oh, oops.
So
I've
just
already
roll,
rolled
just
a
roll one more.
13.
Just roll one more dice.
Okay. 16.
16. Okay. Well, your gut feeling, Goodale, is that Milmore is somewhat of a. They keep him around because he has some knowledge of magic and arcana, which, as clerics, you don't really deal with. You're dealing with divinity and divine magic. And he does have a reputation for being a little bit on the nose from time to time. He is generally considered to be completely trustworthy to the Daughters of Twilight, and he always acts within their interests. So, you know, it's kind of up to you. But that being said, you serve Iolanthra directly. She is the one that you work for, not Milmore Glass. You are aware that you personally would want to go to Iolanthra for feedback or any kind of reporting, whereas these guys don't really know Iolanthra and are working more directly for Milmore. And from what you've figured out so far, they're working for a sort of triumvirate of mob bosses, who somehow Milmore seems to be one of. So it really is kind of up to you how you want to play it. But Iolanthra,
Have I met Ilanthra?
I think you've met her once.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Just
Yeah. I mean, she is the seneschal of Vaingate Temple's Solanor Temple. So she's the highest ranking member of the order here in this location.
All right. I'm just going. Okay.
I think it best if I leave this decision to you, as I've not known the Daughters for quite as long. I do know that Iolanthra is higher in the pecking order of the Daughters, but we have only dealt with Mr. Glass so far.
I see. I have a strong inclination that I should at least go and check in with Ilanthra and see how she's. Just let her know what I've been up to and and yes, touch base with her, I suppose.
And we should probably do that before we look at giving the book to Mr. Glass.
Um, that is my desire. Yes.
Yes. All right. I feel that we should be respecting the daughter's wishes in these things if we're going to donate the book to the daughters. And I'll go back to the rest of the group and say as much, that that we are we've been working for Mr. Glass, but he is not the highest ranking member of the daughters. So I think we should give it to Goodale to.
What exactly is it that you're not going to talk to me about? Says Mr. Glass as he walks down the corridor in your direction.
Mr. Glass.
Isn't Leith Mr. Lath?
Yes. Nothing secretive or anything like that.
Nothing secretive. So why is it that you haven't come directly to my door then?
Because we're just making our own private decision. Thank you.
This doesn't have anything to do with a certain book that Milford Brixton came to me talking about just the other day, does it? It doesn't happen to be that right there, does it? Inside that contraption that you've created. That wouldn't happen to be what you're talking about, would it? No.
I'll give this really apologetic look to Goodale and say, yes.
Well, I certainly hope that if you did have something of such importance, you would bring it directly to me, Leith, because after all, I am, your employer, am I not? At least one of them.
Well, yes, but we did want to make sure that it was seen by Ilanthra as well.
Why would you want to do that?
Because she is my mentor and my boss.
I see. So what this comes down to, Leith, is the fact that you've managed to include a complete stranger into our little operation here, haven't you? And so consequently, what would have been ours is now being shared with a much wider.
Mr. Glass.
Yes, Leith, please do.
Which complete stranger?
Well, for you, I mean, you came across this young cleric. I'm not saying anything untoward towards you, Lady Talandaran, but
Miss Goodale is of the Daughters of Twilight,
and it's very good of you to have saved her life. At which point, probably you should have returned her to the Daughters of Twilight and got about with your business instead of involving her in your misdeeds. Now, probably, she could be in any number of trouble, don't she?
Mr. Glass, I am not an object that can just be returned at will. I have my own free will, and I decided to stay with the band.
Oh, I see. Of course you did. Well, after all, they were in the business of hijacking large sums of money from underneath the city,
They're in the business of excavating a very interesting find that I think the daughters need to be apprised of.
Yes, and that's what I was in the midst of doing, was apprising them of it. But, they require a certain amount of protection, That's the whole point, isn't it?
Indeed.
Well, let's not go bantering about this in the hallway. Bring that in here.
Let's do it.
Go, Michael.
Edric does it, and he walks.
Takes it in.
Is it a normal-sized door? And I'm trying to lug this large book through.
It is a large stone door, but it's not a double door, and it's definitely not big enough to drag the book through sideways.
Pivot.
You definitely.
All right, well, Leith, do me a favor. Go on the back, on that side. Yes.
Yes.
I love it.
I've got it. I've got it as best I can. Yes.
Leave.
Brixton,
Get
get
off
out
my
of the way.
You're hurting my shoulder.
You don't have to hold it. We're fine. Just
I'm guiding it.
Just move,
Do you want me to
please.
let it go then?
No, it's just Leith and I've got it. You're in the way.
Oh, he go with me then. Yeah.
Just
Like it's just through that. Right.
we're going to have to.
And it's through.
Push it up to be able to push it down and then to the side. Yes.
Like this.
Like you'd guide a new mattress into a house.
Except it's made of
right,
stone.
that makes sense.
Right. Very good. Well done. I'm very impressed with all of you. Now, just put it on the table here. Would be good, wouldn't it? They'll be fine.
Leith, deadlift form.
Millmore
I
assists
don't-
with a mage hand that takes 10 pounds off the weight of it.
You're very.
Mr. Glass,
Milford
I will
Brixton.
do-
I'd just
So
like to
too.
say something.
Of course you do. That's usually what you'll come here for, isn't it?
All right, now the young lady in question has the ability to heal. We needed a healer, so I made an on-the-site decision.
All right. You had your reasons, Milford. I get it. I understand.
All
But I
right.
do want to say to you that you should really consider the fact that what you were doing was being engaged in what were very, let's just say, undercover operations. You can't just
I
go around
haven't finished
including
engaging
random
myself yet.
people with these things, can you?
Just, you got a nice little book there.
It's not a little book at all. Are you making fun of my size, Milford Brixton?
Just be nice.
The fact
to
that I'm a
her, will
gnome,
you?
you think that you can go around making fun of my size?
No,
Edric
I don't
sidles
like
up
you
next to
picking
the,
on
next to
my
the,
people.
to
you
Millmore.
know.
Goes, hey,
Good
are
people
you
here.
making fun of size here, there, Brixton?
No, I'm
of
not
the
making fun
smaller
of that.
folk?
I'm defending you, you moron. Listen, these are good people. They've risked their lives to get this, you know.
All right.
All right.
So, look, what's going on then? How about you appraise me of the situation then? Especially
Well,
you.
I'll introduce you to this gentleman first. This gentleman here.
Good after evening, Mr. Glass. My name is Adric Fogdar.
Well, it's,
Pleasure to meet you.
I would like to say it's a pleasure to meet you too. I'm not sure that it is yet, but we'll see. Go about
He-
your
he-
business.
He's part of the team. He's supposed to be.
That's up to you.
Well, so you are part of this operation too then, I see.
I believe I was the first one on it.
Oh, do you?
I
Wow.
believe. I could be wrong.
So you are the employee of one Drazael Storgentherm, then, I believe. Is that right?
I'm his cousin.
I was.
Did we not meet briefly down by the dockyard at the boat at one point? Were you there?
I believe you. Briefly exchanged pleasantries, but I hadn't had the pleasure of engaging you in conversation. No.
Right. So we are in fact acquainted. That's fine with me. All right. So what have you found is what I want to know. What's going on? And who is this fellow here?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm
Xandor
trying
Rem.
to introduce you to this gentleman here.
So yes, my name is Xandor Rem. I am well, let's just say I have a spot of bother right now. There's some trouble where I'm from. The Barakyle envoy. I probably should try and. I'm not sure what to say. Is this fellow? Is this who we're here to speak with, Milford?
Yes, he is.
It
Don't
looks-
be worried about it now. Just tell him everything. He knows everything.
Well, we need a way out. We need some sort of insurance, some way out. There's about to be a lot of trouble here in Vaingate, and I think it's going to arrive probably within a few hours, in the form of one Vorbus Dal Renars, who is in fact the Inquisitor General of the Wizards of Barakyle. The Order has appointed him to do a sort of an audit on our operation, and I believe he's going to find some anomalies, largely due, in fact, to your friends here, I might add, but nonetheless, I have been somewhat complicit now. There's no going back for me either, so I think probably at this point some sort of escape plan might be in order. But I can tell you some interesting and perhaps useful things that you might be interested in, he says. I know that there's several treasure ships. There's the ships in the dockyards here, and they're due to leave within a few days. But if they could be sequestered, we could probably take one or two of them and get shot of this whole place quickly. That would at least give us a fighting chance, I suspect. I'm not sure what the others here think, but I seem to think it seems like a reasonable idea. Wow, says Mr. Glass, this is all going very quickly indeed, isn't it? Things have changed quite a lot. So, in the meantime, what exactly, Drazael's come to me and told me the sum total of what you've managed to collect, and I must say that despite your general inadequacies, you've done quite well. So, I think that the amount that's due for each of you, apparently, well, at least certainly Drazael and Hazeldrill have agreed that there will be quite a considerable bonus in this for all of you. So are you planning to stick around for that, or are you planning to hightail it with this Barakyle wizard on a boat?
Well, I thought, there's a port, and he names the port because he did discuss it with one of the one that owns the bar.
Hazeldrill, yep.
Hazeldrill, yeah, he did, and Hazeldrill said he'd have something waiting at the port to load more gold on.
All right,
So if we can take that gold and then send the boats out, shall we say, to get shipwrecked after we've emptied them?
So you're planning to offload the ship's gold somewhere else and then wreck the ships somewhere so that the envoys suspect that there was some storm or another.
A terrible, unfortunate natural disaster couldn't have been avoided.
I see. Well, I'll tell you what. At this point, truth is, you've done awfully well for yourselves. And despite my general disdain for human beings and other creatures of two-legged variety, don't take yourself so seriously. You've done an extremely good job of all of this. You managed to slay a Shasuva, I heard, and that in itself is quite impressive, although a little disturbing. So,
So can we go down to the boats now, or is that too soon? Can you launch them earlier, so that you don't have to meet what's his name?
Is that possible, Xandor? Xandor thinks about it for a minute. I'm sure that if I wanted to, we could turn up there and yes, we could certainly sequester a boat or even two boats, I suspect. There's two ships and they've been loaded with the choicest, finest treasures that have been discovered so far. But we don't want to see that treasure lost. That would be an incredible shame, and it would be a shame for the world.
No, it won't be lost. Only the ships will get lost.
So there's this other matter, which is this book. Now, I've already detected the magic in the book. It's significant. And I'm noticing there's some other magic in this room as well. And, Mr. Lath, you have a couple of things you might want to think about or consider sharing with us, perhaps?
Like what?
Well, your bag is currently glowing quite strongly in my inner mind.
Oh!
With,
Yes. And I'll pull out the crown and the ring and say we've found these as well, and I'm pretty certain this crown is to do with the book. I'm not so sure about the ring.
So when you take the crown out, what do you do with it?
I'll just put it on his desk.
Millmore, can you make an insight check, please? Anybody who wants to make an insight check, but particularly Leith.
Oh, okay. 21.
Millmore's trembling, like you've never seen him tremble before. His hands shaking, and he's looking at the crown with awe and possibly fear. Adric, you can see this too, but clearly Leith has got a close-up view of this.
Are you all right, Mr. Glass?
Well, Mr. Lath, you've seen this in a book, I'm sure.
Yes.
So you know what this is, don't you?
I do. It's
So
Zabasius Israel Darian
yes,
used to use this very crown. Is that not right?
he wore this crown, yes, and possibly infused it with the most vile, darkest evil magic that has ever existed on this plane.
Well, that's why we wanted to get it put into some sort of protection and the book.
Yes, Ilanthra needs to know about this.
I have to agree. I have to agree. I think probably you're right. And
well, that's what we were talking about.
I think
when
perhaps you should go
first approached
immediately to go and fetch her.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what you interrupted when we were talking when you approached. We were considering about going to Ilanthra first.
Mr. Mistralath, I believe
yes.
I owe you an apology.
Accepted. Thank you.
You have done an admirable job here.
But not necessary, really. It was just purely a misunderstanding.
Well, I feel that we've gotten off on the wrong foot.
Maybe. And I'd like to formally apologize. And he extends his hand and says, for not necessarily trusting you as much as I possibly should have.
Well,
now we start liking each other. Can we get on with it?
Yes,
Brixton,
I'll go
Brixton.
and see if I can find Ilanthra.
yes, good idea. You should do that. Very well. All right, so Goodale, you're going to leave the room. Okay, so you're treading
I
the
also
halls.
wonder, Mr. Glass, if I could possibly have a word in private.
He he puts his hand up to his ear for a moment, and then you receive this sending message. What is it in particular that you want to talk about? He says in message using sending.
Would Steve? This is just Steve looking something up.
Dirty old Steve. Looking
Would
stuff
would
up.
it perhaps be a good idea for us to sequester this treasure to the shard at Lockhart Lake?
He suddenly opens his eyes and looks at you. And you hear
And
him say back to you through message, you know about this. You are a member of the servants of the Fox.
Yes.
This should be taken there. But, unfortunately, Mr. Mistralath, you've brought it directly into the heart of the Solanor Temple at Vaingate. It will be very difficult to get this out from underneath Ilanthra's nose now. How do you plan to do that?
Oh.
You've walked right into the lion's den in that regard.
Well, the daughters should be looking after the book. I do feel that. But it's the treasure that we need to get away to somewhere else. Is that not correct?
Well, yes, treasure. I mean, certainly I think that you're right that the, yes, the servants of the Fox could do well with what you're discussing. This is not a question in my mind, but I was not expecting this from you. You've surprised me twice this evening.
So perhaps rather than sailing out to sea with these boats, we should sail inland.
You want to take these boats to Lockhart Lake?
Well, that the servants could certainly keep them safe from the Barrack Isle envoy.
That's true. Well, you could try. You could try.
I think that might be our safest bet at this stage.
I also think that you probably need to go and speak with Drizael, because I believe Drizael has something of a reward waiting for the lot of you.
Well, yes, we were planning on collecting rewards, but there is a greater good to be thought of here.
That's true. All right then. Well, as you will. Let's see what Lady Iolanthra has to say. Okay, so Goodale. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Excellent. All right, so Goodale, you go wandering up through the... Well, not wandering. You walk purposefully up through the hallways of the Temple of the Solanor Temple in Vaingate until you find Lady Iolanthra in the innermost sanctum performing her rites. Do you wish to interrupt her, or are you going to allow her to finish?
Oh no, I'll respect it and allow her to finish.
Very well. Finally, she finishes her rites, and she turns and steps out from the inner sanctum, and she sees you as she does, and she bows and casts back her hood, and she steps in your direction. Goodale, you've come so far. Here to seek me out.
Yes, Ilanthra. I hope you are well and that you have received the letter I sent you.
Of course,
So-
Goodale. Something is on your mind.
Yes. Through my adventures with my new compatriots, we have come across an enormous find, which could be either very beneficial or very dangerous. It is a book. It belonged, well, the book is regarding one Zabasius Israel Darian. Are you familiar with this name?
I am familiar with this name, Goodale. What does it speak of, this book?
Well, I have been avoiding reading the book, to be honest. My friend Edrin, a human, has been into the book, so he will be able to give you more details. We also have his crown and a ring. And these effects are all down in the offices of Millmore Glass.
Mr. Glass has these things in his custody, then?
Yes, but only just. He has not had time to come and talk to you about it.
Does anyone else know about these things?
Just Millmore and the men and I who have retrieved the items.
I should like you to summon your friends here.
Very good. Would I be able to do that by cantrip, the message cantrip, or should I?
You can do it by messenger. You can send one of the various messengers here to go and get them.
Okay. All right. Excuse me, young squire. Would you mind going down to the offices of Millmore Glass and fetching the gentleman therein?
All right. So without much further ado, you guys are summoned up to Iolanthra Imdrael's inner sanctum, higher up in the temple, part of the temple you've never been to before. And Leith, you happen to know that almost nobody except actual full members of the actual temple itself are even allowed to step foot in this place. So for whatever reason you guys are being let in here must be very special indeed.
Yes, of
I
course.
just want to note that Adric came up here extremely reluctantly. He has some very obvious distaste on his face for being this far deep into a temple.
Okay. Sounds fair and reasonable. And he will, of course, notice that every second step there is some shrine or statue or inscription. The ceiling itself, as you come into this inner sanctum itself, the ceiling, this domed ceiling, has this stained glass window on the roof, like literally this bubble on the roof, which depicts the day of Parkard and the moonstrike and the destruction of the creation of the remnant moons. and this huge black comet ripping through the sky. Okay,
Is Millmore coming with us?
Millmore does come with you, yes.
Yeah.
And so does Xandor Rem. And when you all enter into the room, Millmore looks the most respectful you've ever seen him in your whole lives. You've never seen him give anybody as much respect as he is giving Iolantha right now. He seems very serious. He's still shaking, by the way. Xandor, he's doing okay, but he also seems very sort of disturbed by the whole situation. And various clerics and paladins have stepped aside to open gates and doors and what have you, and raise banners and things as you come through. And so finally you enter into the inner sanctum there, and Iolantha stands in the moonbeams shining through the stained glass above you that reflect down into this large circular chamber surrounded by 9 pillars. And she looks at you as you come in. Please, friends, enter. I am Iolantha Imdrael. I am the seneschal of Vaingate Temple Solanor, of the Daughters of Twilight. You are safe here.
Thank you for taking the time to see us, Iolantha.
Of course, I understand that you bring not only news but objects of great import. Things that
Yes.
may affect our world.
I think, well, as you can see, Mr. Glass is rather shaken by what we've brought.
I see that.
Um,
I have heard the name spoken in just the last few minutes. A name I did not expect to hear in my lifetime. The name Zabasius Israel Darion.
yes. Downstairs we have his book and his crown and maybe one of his rings.
And not just his book, says Millmore, it's his spell book, I believe.
Yes. Mr. Edrin, could you perhaps elucidate on some of the contents of the book?
Yes. Yes. The first, well, initially when we found it recently, it was open. It was turned to one of the rear pages. It had a wish spell inscribed within its pages. It took some time to get it back to the front, and in the front was an introduction to the book of this lich, and then proceeded to begin the tale of his journey to lichdom, as well as prefacing that it is a sort of a step-by-step process of how he became a lich, including I've written down here his quest components, his own personal philosophical thoughts on it. I didn't get particularly far, but it seems to hold very powerful spells and essentially a how-to lichdom.
I see. That is of very serious import indeed, for such a thing has not disturbed Sidarial in many aeons. You found other things too, I have heard. Mr. Lath.
Oh,
Yes, the crown, and I'm very unsure about the ring that we found, but it seemed to belong with it.
May I see this ring?
They are downstairs in Mr. Glass's.
Oh, I'll have them summoned
offices.
immediately, my lady, he says. And he does. He has somebody go and get them. And without much further ado, the crown is brought upstairs on top of a large pillow being carried by 2 clerics. And the ring similarly on another pillow, but only carried by 1 young acolyte, and presented before her. And she immediately casts some cloth over the crown, calling it some vile artifact. But looking at the ring, she picks it up and she says, less of an evil creature, should I say, what's the word, I'm sorry, not creature, less of evil portent. She just flicks it at Milford. I think you should have this, Milford, as part of your payment for the hardships that you have endured. It might be useful to you. And she smiles. You will find it.
He puts it on.
All right. It's going to take you an hour to attune to it.
Okay.
But it's called Rain. What it's going to allow you to do once you've attuned to it is it will allow you, when it is raining, to literally use the rain as stairs and to run on the raindrops.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
But as for the book, we have some things to consider. Now, Mr. Glass, she turns to Milmore, I am beginning to think that you have been involved in things that I have not been party to, and these things may have been, perhaps, less than reputable, Mr. Glass. And Milmore looks a little bit squeamish and a little bit shy and a little bit under the thumb right now. If anyone wants to make an insight check, although to be honest it's not hard to tell that he's clearly a bit uncomfortable. Well, my lady, I mean, you must let me explain. It's not as if I was just simply running around trying to, collect wealth for the sake of it. No, I had the Daughters of Twilight in my best interest. Well, I'm sure you did, Mr. Glass. However, you have violated our pact and arrangement, and we are going to need to have words. But later. So at that, she says, now what else is of pressing matter? What else is a pressing matter presently? She looks at the faces of your characters.
Orbus, the Inquisitor of the Barakyle Envoy, is coming to have an audit of their excavation, and, things aren't going to go particularly well, I don't think, over there.
Excavation, she says. Tell me more of this excavation.
It's where we found the books and everything. The book, the crown, the ring. The story in ruins in the Underdark.
She looks over at Milmore again. Mr. Glass, there seems to be quite a lot we're going to have to talk about, doesn't there? He just lowers his head, milady. Very well.
Lady.
Mr. Brixton.
It was actually, Mr. Glass assigned me this mission, but he did not want you to get, how can I say,
Politically involved?
Yes, politically involved.
Yes, I'm sure Mr. Glass had my best interests in mind at all times, she says.
Oh, because, there's quite a load headed your way. There's quite a load headed your way. We're doing the last bit of the mission now, which comes to the Daughters.
Mr.
One of the ships
Brixton,
is coming to the Daughters.
You understand
We did consider that the book and the crown would be best held by the Daughters for the good of not just, the immediate situation, but that of the world, quite possibly.
So it seems to me that after your excavation for the purposes of plunder went awry and you were to discover these ancient and frankly evil artifacts, rather than considering the Daughters of Twilight to be of perhaps your nearest and closest and dearest allies, you have instead decided to offload your problems, these relics of vile darkness at our door before considering any other thing.
Oh no, I'm sorry, you read that wrong, my lady.
Have I?
Yes, you have. As I say, there are 2 boats we have yet to get, and we are going to try and get at least one of the 2 for the daughters if we can manage the 2.
Milford, what are your surface thoughts right now?
Well, as far as he's concerned, he's been working for the daughters because Millmore works for them. So he considered that some of that gold was going to the daughters. That's why.
Right. So you assumed that that Millmore, being a member of the Daughters, would be just simply collecting and passing it on to them as sort of a donation, perhaps undercover or something like that.
That's what he considered.
Okay. And Leith, what do you think about all of this? You can make a saving throw if you want to, but
No, Leith is definitely speaking his mind about what this item can, the danger of the item, and that the Daughters of Twilight are probably the best religious organization with which to protect the world from the evil that these things are.
Right. Okay. Very good. Goodale, what are your thoughts on the matter when Iolantha looks at you?
And also, it's got nothing to do with the money.
Okay.
Well, when Goodale found this band, I think she initially thought she was, not using them, but she felt that there was some that being with them would lead her to a discovery.
Right.
So she's actually feeling quite successful. Like, she went down, she met these guys, she thought that there was going to be a payoff somewhere, and she kind of feels like maybe this was it.
Right. Right. And Idrin, Iolantha gazes at you and searches your surface thoughts next, which you are welcome to make a saving throw against if you so desire.
Yes, it's very much. The book is better off here. Probably, hopefully, worries of peering eyes and people of corruptibility falling prone and becoming under its influence, but also I myself wanting to read through and investigate myself for curiosity's sake, as a kind of a boldly go where no man's gone before kind of thing.
Right. Okay. And Adric, last but not least, she glances and gazes at you.
Adric looks her back in the eyes, and I think the first thing that she'd be assaulted by is aggression, fury. He is deeply unhappy about being here, and he's not thinking about his mission. He's not thinking about giants. He's thinking about the last day that he was in the mountains. He's thinking about a bundle of stone in his arms. He's thinking about punching and forcing clerics away from him. He's thinking about walking into a tomb filled with rows and rows of little stone bodies. And he's thinking about the cry of vengeance, fury at all the gods, but especially his chief dwarven one, who
Moradin.
I'm angry thinking about it, so I can't think of his name.
Moradin.
Yeah. So I think it's overwhelming. He just wants to leave. Or attack her. Honestly, it's 50-50 at this point.
All right. Sensing this, she looks at you and she steps back. And she kind of turns her head, sort of tilts her head slightly. And how tall are you exactly?
4'7".
She's quite tall for an elf, so she literally kneels down in front of you and comes down to eye level with you, and she And she says, "Love, light, liberty and light." And when she looks at you, she casts calm emotions upon you, which is an action. And you can feel your emotions kind of just start to wash away, and this actually causes the charmed effect on you.
Okay, I don't get to make a saving throw on this?
You do. Hold on a second. Charisma saving throw. Yep.
Okay.
You can choose to fail it if you want. However, it says
I
that
want
in
to
the
fail
rules.
this.
Okay.
17.
Okay. You can choose to not be affected
Oh,
by it.
I don't want to be affected by this.
All right.
I don't want her anywhere near me. I'm standing my ground as a courtesy to my friends.
All right. She says, "You are deeply disturbed, Mr. Fogdar.
Yes.
Is there any way that I may assist or help?"
Allow me to leave.
"You may leave at your will."
Hadrick turns on his heel and walks out the room. Before leaving, goes, I'm going to a pub. Find me when you're ready.
When are you going to?
Go to
Very
the
good.
Broken Oak.
Broken Oak. See you soon.
Yes, we'll meet you at the Broken Oak.
My lady, if there is anyone to blame for this whole thing, it's me.
"Should I punish you then, Mr. Brixton?"
If you feel you must, I did mastermind most of it.
"I see. Well, for now I think we have more pressing issues. I will need to consider some things. For now, I think you should go and comfort your friend. Goodale, I will send for you if I have word." You're muted, Goodale.
Yes, lady. Could I make an inquiry?
Of course.
Through my adventures with my new friends, we've had the opportunity to have an audience with Queen Claresca. Do we have a daughter within the palace?
We do have times when we are invited within the palace, yes. I myself have occasion to stand among the council of wardens.
It only struck me that she may be in need or perhaps find use for some guidance. So, I don't know. I was just wondering.
Let us think upon this. Oh, there is a messenger, and the messenger comes forth and hands her an envelope, which she then looks at briefly and then passes to you, Goodale. Which you can hold up for the camera. Just like that.
Oh,
You may choose to read it
Thank
now
you.
or later. It is your...
Read it at the inn.
At the end? Okay.
At the inn.
Oh, at the inn.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, thank you very much, Iolantha.
Of course. Then I shall retire for now and speak with... And she turns to Milmore. "You and I must have words." "Of course, my lady, of course." And so you are ushered back out from the temple. And do you make your way to the Broken Oak Tavern?
Yes.
do you wish to come with us, Mr. M, and have a drink
He
and
says,
discuss where to from here?
I think probably that might be a good idea. Yes, let me come along with you. But firstly, he says, "Hold one moment," and he casts disguise self on himself, and he transforms himself entirely into another person who
Very
you've
clever.
never seen before.
Yep.
But you will recognize me like this, yes? I'll have this green necklace about me.
Of course. Yes.
I'm now a trader of Saxaxalim.
Very good.
Whatever you choose to make your backstory, I think we can probably think up some ideas at the bar.
Very good. Well, let us away. Go.
Yes.
All right. So off you go, and you get to the tavern. Now, Adric. Oh dear me, Adric, you've been there a few minutes earlier than everybody else. So are you half pissed at this point?
I've had a good pint or 2 or 3 at this
Okay.
point.
You want to make a Constitution saving throw?
I certainly
Oh, you don't.
do.
You know, you don't need to. You don't get poisoned, do you? You're immune, if I'm not wrong.
No, I don't.
You don't.
I have an advantage against poison. Yeah, I have an advantage and resistance to poison. So
Oh,
I
okay,
rolled
advantage
advantage for
and-
con saves.
All right. So you can make an
Oh,
advantage.
that's
You can
useful.
roll with
Oh,
advantage.
that's yeah. If only we'd done that with a certain shot. That's a natural 20, total of 25,
Wow. Okay. So you're not feeling anything. All right.
and that's why I've drunk so much.
Right. So you're just knocking them back, and they're not doing anything to you. All right. And so as you're standing there drinking, and these guys are on their way to you, Oakenstaff approaches you. You're certainly throwing them back tonight, there, young Fogdar.
You could say that. Say I'm trying to drown a few ghosts.
I see. Understood. I have mind to think I know which ghosts you're trying to drown. In that case, you'll have the next one on me.
He doesn't look up, and he just nods, looking into his now empty glass.
Would you like a glass of dragon's breath? That'll put you asleep.
I'd appreciate that.
Ah. Then make a constitution saving throw with advantage.
That's another 20. Adric does not want to go down.
Wow.
His fury powers him through the booze.
I think it's adrenaline's up.
I reckon there's somebody at D&D Beyond who literally is just watching the stream and
Must
choosing what people get, you know.
They might think it's more interesting for Adric to not be able to drown his demons.
Right, for sure. Okay, so at this point, you guys come sort of wandering into the Broken Oak Tavern, which, for the audience's sake, is a large 3-story building with a big courtyard in the center that has a massive oak tree growing up out through the top of the roof, and the bottom floor is entirely a bar. And Adric is somewhere in there, in a corner, perhaps. I expect, getting sloshed, when the 4 of you come walking through with Xandor, who's in disguise. All right. There's a group of dwarves sitting over there, always playing dominoes or whatever it is that they do. 3 Dragon Ante. There you go. That's the name of it. And you see Adric. So.
Adric, are you all right?
Everything's grand. Everything's going according to plan.
You did not at all seem very comfortable in the one place that I feel most at home, and I'm terribly sorry that we had to bring you there.
Oh, no apologies necessary.
If I'd have known,
How
my
could you have
friend.
known?
If I'd have known, my friend, I would have told you to wait outside of something. I'm
How
sorry.
could you
Let's
have
get
known?
drunk
I
together.
didn't say anything. Oh, you're drinking this time, are you?
Oh, I'm drinking this time, boyo. It's been a long night.
While we do, I think perhaps it's a good idea. Mr. Edric, this is Shit, I've forgotten his name.
Xandor.
Andor.
Huh?
Xandor Rem.
This is Mr. Rem
Aye.
in disguise.
Master Randor Zem, a pleasure to meet you.
Oh, you're very funny, Mr. Fogdar. Very funny indeed.
Have you
As
come up
right
with?
now, I'm not.
Now
Have
listen
you
to
come
me.
up with a name?
Listen to me, you fellows and lady. Time is of the essence now. You
I
shouldn't
agree.
spend your time drinking. Now is not it. If he gets here, and you know who I mean, if he gets here to Vaingate, I'm not joking when I say he will raise the city to the ground. If he doesn't find what he's looking for. The things that we found under the city are of such import that he would do such to obtain them.
Well, yes, I quite agree. And this is why we need to get to one of the boats
I'll
go inland.
I'll go one step further with you, Mr. Mistralath, is that of anyone that I know among the Barakyle envoy, of any of the Barakyle wizards I've ever met, he looks around, if you have any concerns about Zabasius Israel Darion, this fellow is most like him.
Well, yes, and I suggest that we get to one of the boats that's loaded up with treasure, and we
Yes.
sail inland to Lockhart Lake.
Will it go that far? Will it go upstream?
I'm sure we can find ways through.
Why are we going to Lockhart Lake?
It is the most trustworthy place I can think of that the
Doesn't
treasure
that
would
bring us
protect.
closer to King Evran and his little, shall we say,
That's what I'm worried
purge.
about.
It does.
black guards, all of
It
that sort of
does,
thing?
yes, but it
Yeah, the
also
black guards there.
hear me out, please,
Keep it
Milford.
down, keep it down.
It takes us also to the servants of the fox.
Xandor looks a little confused.
Who the
I'm
what?
sorry, who?
The servants of the fox will be able to look after this for us.
Who are these people that you're speaking
Try-
of, Mr.
You
Ladd?
will need, if you don't know who they are, then you will need to trust me.
How can we trust you? How do we know what you're saying is in the least bit true? How do we know you're not working for this could easily be a trap. This is the most obvious trap.
Steve is going back through his notes in trying to find the name of the leader.
Imrel Maith
Yeah,
Helazadril?
I'll just say that name. Imral Maith Helazadril.
You speak an ancient name, long past. Why? What is of this? What is it? What is this?
He is still alive.
How
And
do
I
you
have-
know this, Mr. Lath?
I have met him
What?
on the island on Lockhart Lake.
That
The
is
one that does not always appear to be there.
These are legends. These are not even contested mysteries. These are just legends.
You will
He's
have
not
to.
talking mysteries and legends.
This is truth. I have seen.
You mean to say that the lake, the Isle of Shadows is the name that I learned
Yes, that is what many know it as.
upon
I
Lockhart
encountered
Lake.
the isle.
It's also the greatest place to hide you.
What if the Isle of Shadows rejects me?
Well,
We'll find another place to house you.
yes,
Of course, we're
that's
not
a
going to leave
risk
you
that we could
anything
take, but
else.
it's the.
Is it
it's
not
the
connected
safest
to the
place.
true king?
Yes. Hey, are they cousins, the true king
And Milford?
yeah, in some kind of weird
Distant
freaky-
cousins, yes.
Yeah. My distant cousin will help you. I know he will. If he
Welcome,
can.
Lescalad, for following us. Yay, thank you. You have a distant... Are you saying that you are related to the true king?
I am.
That is absurd.
This is why I suggest that we should get to the lake. and store you and the
Well,
treasure there.
the trouble is that the boats that we're dealing with, they're designed for sea travel. They're not barges.
Can we perhaps find something and
We'll have to
transfer?
move
we won't
everything.
have enough time. We should go with the original plan, saying, as we can't get to the lake. It's the only other way.
Well, perhaps you can. I mean, if we can find barges or something like that, I mean, perhaps we could buy barges. We should certainly have the money. But the problem that I'm seeing is the money that we have right now. We need a more private place to speak. I do not feel comfortable speaking about this in public like this in a bar.
Yes, where would you suggest?
A room for a start.
Let's go to Drazel's house. Remember when we first met, gentlemen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's about as
Okay,
safe
let's
as it
go
gets.
there.
All right, now quick check. The time is 10:04 p.m. here in New Zealand. If you're not in New Zealand, it's 10 p.m. here, and this is our standard ending time, roundabouts. But we can go for a few more minutes if you guys would like to, or we can call it right here.
I personally would like to keep going. How do you guys feel?
I'd do it.
Yeah, go till 10:30.
Yep,
So,
I'm happy to go till 10:30.
Goodale,
Yeah.
we need your consent.
Yes, let's find a more natural stopping place.
All right. So hi from France. Cool, nice to meet you, man. It's great having people from all over the world. All right. In fact, one of our patrons, I'm going to call him a patron, is also from France. He calls himself, let me see. Oh my goodness, what is his name? Orson D.
Not on the chat.
Orson D. He comes in. He's usually on chat, but we've just changed our nights, so he might not be available. Anyway,
Might be rescheduling.
yeah, I'm half in character and half DM right now, so okay.
All right.
Back on track. All right, so you head over to Drazel's house, all right, and you get let in and you're allowed through and so on and so forth. Of course, there is the mandatory stop at the door where usually people cast a coin into the Shrine of Moradin, which is a bit of a sore point for Adric right now. So, Adric, you go through the gate and Moradin is there confronting you looking smug as usual. Moradin being the god of the dwarves. What do you do at that point?
Reflexively, his hand twitches towards the great maul on his back.
Right.
He lets his fingers dance across the edge, staring at Moradin's smug face.
All right.
Closes his eyes, takes a deep breath, and walks in.
All right. So you find yourselves on the balcony where currently it's empty. There's nobody there at all. But then first of all you see Yeagar come out. Yeagar is the red-headed dwarf with one eye and a scar across his face, and he's got the bearded axe on his shoulder. He looks out at you. "I'll fetch Drazel," he says, and off he goes back into the house. A couple of minutes later, Drazel comes back out, and he's rubbing his eyes. "Ah, you lot. Well, what can I do for you? You're back early. I wasn't expecting you just yet."
Ah, well, we're just planning the end of the heist. So
You had enough,
keep
have
this-
you? I heard there was a treasure ship down there the size of, well, fields, whole fields of gold. Is that not true?
Oh, it's very true, cousin. Very true.
Well, do we not want to get it all, or you wish to give up already?
Oh, well, no, we're not giving up. We're changing priority first before we go further down into the...
And that's what I love about you, Adric Fogdar. You've come here to discuss changing priority, haven't you? Because you wouldn't go so far as to change the plan without my consent now, would you?
Of course not.
Of course
you know me
not.
too well.
Aye. So what's this change of priority then? Tell me about that.
Well, it turns out that our activities have managed to gain the attention of a particularly dangerous archmage of the Barakyle persuasion.
Wait, what? You've gained the attention of a dangerous archmage at the Barakyle Envelope.
Inadvertently, something has garnered their attention.
Who's this? Who's this fellow standing behind
This,
Xandor
this is my
bows.
very, very good friend and now turncoat and ally, Mr. Xandor Rem, the current and former foreman of the dig site.
you? Adric, come over here, will you? Let's just have a wee little walk down the garden for a moment. You can all sit at the table if you like. Somebody bring them some food, will they?
Thank you very
More-
much.
They bring
And
food
more drinks,
and
please.
wine and alcohol and stuff. And looks over his shoulder and he looks at Goodale for a moment, kind of smiles at her and grabs Adric by the shoulder and comes dragging him down to the garden, down the steps and out into the thing. Adric, who's this fellow that you're telling me about here? He's a good friend, you say?
Well, former unfortunate employer after
He worked for them, did he?
Well,
You better
see,
kill him, I
he's-
think. You probably should just
No,
put
no,
him
no,
down.
no.
I'll give you the weapons if you need them.
no, I've got weapons. It's fine. No, he expressed while we were working together that he wanted a change of pace. He didn't really know that we would be coming towards him like a Packard itself. And, well, if things don't go well with this certain archmage, he's very likely to get the job. So
I
we
see.
offered him a way out. And we think he's going to be quite the asset.
Oh, and why is he such an asset then?
He's quite a powerful wizard.
Is he?
Additionally, he's he's the foreman. He knows everything about their functioning, their organization. Think long term. The Barakyle knew about this dig site. How much more do they know about elsewhere?
Well, you've got a good point there, Mr. Fogdar. Good point.
For a dwarf of blunt weapons, I'm quite sharp.
So you're saying that we keep him on our side and he'll help us acquire more of that treasure then?
Aye. Now, we're planning on a change in identity for our friend Xandor Rem. Currently, he's probably leaning towards the Daughters of Twilight, but I'm sure if we were to make him feel quite welcome, give him room and board, a new face, the whole treatment, I'm sure you could quite happily have this talented gentleman under your employ.
All right, Fogdar, you've convinced me that he's worth something. I'm sure that you wouldn't see such things if it weren't for your good sense and your experience. And besides, your father was a good man. Aye. So, right. You say so. The man can take residence here for now. All right.
Thank you kindly.
All right. So tell me more about this. What did you say? He starts walking you guys back to the group now. Okay, so you come back to the group. So tell me more about this. What did you say? Is some sort of someone was coming from somewhere to do something or not?
We shouldn't really be talking about this quite so loud.
Oh, it's fine. This is my house, Mr. Alath.
It's quite safe, Leith. I've had a man gutted for saying it's one of Gisele's fears. Let's say.
I
Trust me,
see.
no secrets get out here.
Sure.
No secrets at all.
Fantastic. Sorry, I'm just a little bit. You could
I
call
understand
it
your
paranoid.
understand your
about-
caution.
So
I
you all
understand.
here have witnessed this fellow here. He's certainly by the by. Then he's a good fellow.
Mr. Rem?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
All right then. So congratulations, Mr. M. Excuse me. I'm sorry, lady.
I was just going to say he's certainly very powerful.
Oh well. That's interesting. So you're prepared to work with us then, Mr. M. Yes, my lord. I certainly would be prepared to work with you if.
But we have to get on with the plan if we're going to get it right, because the bad man is a coming.
Well, yes, I think we should start thinking about the sort of clock that is ticking.
Right. Well, the first thing I'd like to talk to you about is some sort of reward, because well, I've had some of the prizes that you brought out from the from down there, the treasure ship. I had some of it evaluated, and well, frankly, it's you're in for a surprise. Why don't you take a wee guess as to what you think you might be in for?
A shard of Packard itself.
Ooh, it's not bad. It's not far off either.
You're joking.
Well, I'm not joking.
Oh,
So,
guys, that's marvelous.
so after the three of us, and I'm talking about me and our good friend Hazeldrill, the most amazing and our dainty friend. And anyhow, the three of us have agreed after our cut that you lot have been worth quite a lot of money and owed quite a lot of money for that. So, how do you feel about 500,000 gold pieces?
Edrin coughs up his drink.
Is that all?
Uh,
You're doing us hard, aren't you, cousin?
Well, it would be in gems and small items, of course. Can't give you gold.
No, of course.
That'd be ridiculous.
Aye.
And you will have to wait a little bit for it because we have to get it changed, you see.
Aye. No rush. We're not going anywhere. Well, technically, we're moving.
well,
But-
yes, we.
What I can do is I can loan it to you, or at least release it to you in amounts along the way, if you like. So for now, for example, I can give you 1,000 gold each just to get things started.
I believe.
Pocket money, basically.
That would be very appreciated.
If you need more, just ask, obviously. I'll give you what I've got, but there is a limit as to what I actually have on hand right now. But certainly, yes, Adrian.
Russell, did we have a specific number on how big my debt was?
Wasn't that big.
No. Okay.
Let's.
Did we agree it was
can you roll me
10K or something? Or I can roll something.
Can you roll me 3d6 times 10k?
Jesus.
80.
Okay, so you owe 80,000 gold pieces for the damages done by your extraordinarily talented son.
Oh, I think that's just the collection of all my
Oh,
fuckery.
and other fuckery.
Other fuckery, family fuckery,
Family fuckery, okay, fair
research fuckery,
Right.
so much fuckery.
Right.
Family fuckery.
Gambling? Is there gambling
game show
as well?
Predecessor.
Luckily, there's no gambling.
Family Feud.
Okay. Right.
Mr. If it's 500,000, and then to be split equally, but I assume between us.
That's right. Between the five of you.
Between the five of us, yes, that's 100.
100,000 gold each.
I was wondering if you could send in a large sum a good portion of that to
Oh yes.
a place.
Of course.
I was wondering if you could send 80% of my share to the stretch
Or just
in
give.
Vanderhold.
You can write it down.
I can write down the address.
Write it down for
Right
me,
now.
and I'll have it delivered. Don't worry.
Yes.
No fear of that. Aye. So, anything else you'd like to discuss immediately?
So
just that.
we have 1,000 gold each.
Yep. You can put 1,000 gold each on your character sheets if you so desire. That'll be in gems though.
Oh, and gems.
Yeah, so you're not lugging around 1,000 gold pieces because that would be freaking silly.
I'm going to put it as 1,000 gold on my
Okay.
sheet, but
And then we can trade the gems
figure
for
out, yeah.
goods.
Yep.
yeah.
And Muffin's already talked to him about what his plans were for his share anyway.
Has he?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't
because
think
he would have,
he hasn't had a chance yet.
hadn't he? Okay,
Yeah.
then I haven't. I'll write it all down, send him a letter.
Well, thank you very much for this very kind split. I very much appreciate the
Well,
what
you know,
you've done here.
it's fair.
Indeed,
There is another thing of interest, though. I think you probably should know about. Is we found a number of magic items amongst the treasure, and you know, some of it's going to be of interest to some of you. So, you know, we can talk about those. Who might want some of it?
Well, we are in the process of needing to leave town quite soon. So
Well, you can thank Hazeldrill for putting the word in for the five of you for the magic items, because I was... Hang on, I'm playing Millmore Glass right now.
It's like, this doesn't sound like cousin.
Holy crap, I'm the wrong NPC. Okay. Yes,
to character.
Drazael. Drazael. Ah, yes, Drazael.
There you go,
Right.
lovely.
So you can thank that bastard Hazeldrill for putting the word in for you, for having that sense of mind to make sure that you get your fair rewards. Right?
Oh, well,
All
yes.
right. Thank you, Hazeldrew.
So if you've got time, you might want to go and see him, because I believe he's put some choice pieces away for you.
Perfect. Well,
Yes.
and then
Let's look
after
at
this,
those.
wake that bastard up.
Aye.
No, all right,
So
go for a run.
probably not right
Or it's-
immediately, though. You've got things to do and think about.
Yes.
And it's late. You don't want to be seen running around the streets right now. There's guards running around. Have you noticed that? They've doubled the guards lately.
That may have had something to do with the Shisuba.
A what?
Yeah, I was a mishap. There were a few explosions from an itinerant band of wizards and etc.
It's quite a dangerous sort of demon that we had kind of utilized for the purposes of causing a distraction if our friends here had become noticed by the wrong people, and as it happened they were, so we had to release it. Unfortunately it turned on them and we had some problems with that.
It could also be that knowledge of this Inquisitor is starting to spread.
Yes, the Inquisitor Vorbus Dal Renaz of
Yes.
Barakyle is on his way, Mr. Drizael, and it is of great import that whatever you do right now, you do it quickly. Because you don't want to be here when he arrives. Well, either that, or you need to find some way of placating him and sending him away back where he came from, or perhaps putting some sort of false trail down or something like that. Those are my suggestions. But I personally, I do not intend to be in Vaingate when he arrives. And thus, I feel it is probably my duty to move on immediately, probably this night.
You had to,
I would wish to protect you, Mr. M, and get you, and for us all to head away.
let's go down to the boats now then.
So you'd like to, you want to move out right now? I'd be
Right
very happy
now.
with
Sooner
it.
the
But
better.
We don't want to.
I don't want you to lose out on your treasure, but I just...
No, we'll get the treasure first.
Can you hold it for us?
Oh, yeah, of course. I'll hold you to gold for as long as it takes to the end of time, Mr. Brixton. You have my word.
Good. Your word's good enough for me.
Especially with your cousin present, yes.
Come on, let's get going.
Well, dwarves' words on their family are usually pretty sound. I've found.
So, are you going to go and see Hazeldrill then before you leave?
Yeah.
I think we should very quickly. Yes.
Okay, yes.
Whatever he has will only be of benefit to us.
All right. And Goodale, out of game, did you want to read your letter before the end of tonight?
Would love to, yes.
Okay. Do you want to do that before the others, in front of the others? Or...
It'd be good when we're around the table.
We've got
anyway.
like 7 minutes, basically, so I want to try and wrap it up.
Okay, so should I read it first, or should we get our new little gifts?
Well,
or...
at this point, what my plan was, out of game, is to wrap the game up, and then we can talk about what sort of things should even be on that list, because I want to work with you guys on creating a list of things for your characters to choose from in the next session.
Right. Okay.
So
All right.
I think that it's, for whatever reason, it's too late at this very moment to get to Hazel drills on this evening.
So we sit around
So
the
you
table
need
and
to-
read the letter.
Okay. All right. Do you remember when you all encouraged me to write to my brother, Ren, who's with the Black Guard?
Oh,
He's responded.
Good news.
Yes.
Very good.
Dear sister, I could not but notice that you have become an adventurer. While I am impressed with your endeavors, it is apparent that you have not given me the names of your comrades or their professions. He's a very astute study, my brother. My first thought was that this could be because they have no family, no living relatives, and no status to speak of. Or perhaps it is because they are orphans? However, I clearly owe these mercenaries a debt of gratitude for saving my sister from these horrors of the Underdark, and should there come a time that I may repay this debt, please let me know. If none of these states apply, then please, with all haste, send me the names of these brave adventurers who saved my sister, so that if I meet them at some later date, I may help them in their endeavors. I am, of course, glad to hear that they are taking care of you, which is precisely the reason I am not making my way to that den of iniquity, Vaingate. As for Lady of the Moonlight, as she continues to speak to you, be very careful. You and I are both aware of the consequences of prophecy and other arcane gifts under the valiant reign of King Ivran Erothani. In answer to the question of my happiness in my present employ, in my youth the order that your father commands was a great and splendid inspiration. However, my experience of it has become tainted. It is now no longer the bastion of nobility that I recall from my early days of service. I am in the process, however, of assisting some like-minded colleagues to find direction among our elven kin. As you know, while fulfilling our duties, we have discovered numerous interesting facts about the Orcan situation, the least of which is that their resources are greatly exaggerated to my way of thinking. Whether this is correct, who can say? After all, I am a mere captain. What do I know of statecraft? Sister dear, I have been to your Vaingate. We obviously had different tours. I felt quite at home in Asterion, among the elven gardens. The only other place of recall that I noted was an inn, which to my surprise housed a tree in the central courtyard somewhere in Thorasis. As concerning Queen Clariska, if I am on leave at some time in the future, I will make it a point to come and see you, and perhaps you can introduce me to Her Majesty herself, as she sounds most interesting and enlightening indeed. Let the peace of your belief and the guidance that you seek forever keep you safe. Always your loving brother Ren. Life, light, love, and liberty. Oh, it does warm my heart to hear from my dear brother.
It's very nice of them to write back to you.
It sounds well.
Indeed. I hope you don't mind that I didn't mention your names to my brother. I was concerned that the letter may be intercepted, and I wasn't sure whose histories may be of concern to
You
whom.
did say he was of the Black Guard, didn't you?
Yes, this is correct.
Then that is probably wise.
Does Leith know Goodale's last name?
Don't think so.
Okay. Just checking.
Should he?
Oh, well, if he knew what her last name was, he would recognize it.
What was the name?
Has she mentioned it, or is there any way that he would have come across her last name?
Did you read it in the letter? Did you just read it in the letter?
It's not in the letter, but I'm fairly certain I probably introduced myself when they rescued me.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Leith, you would recognize that Talandaran, the head of the Talandaran household, is in fact King Evran's right-hand man. He is Elandor Talandaran, who is the head of the Black Guard. So you don't know
Right.
what relationship he has to Goodale, but
Yeah.
they're certainly in the same family.
But it's also understood that the Black Guard is like a kind of an SS that you get employed into, right?
Yeah,
Essentially, to draw a real world analogy.
right.
So it's kind of a grey area of
Yeah,
that, of evil, or the I'm
Right.
just doing my job kind of thing.
yeah, for sure.
But some people will have a conscience to that, and hearing what she's read, I do assume that he's one of those that probably has a conscience. So,
Right,
Yeah. But I still probably don't want him to know who I am
right.
in that case.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough. Fair enough. Well, it is 10:30, and I feel that that is probably a good place to put it to sleep. And thank you, everybody who is watching, and all of those who have assisted us in coming this far. I enjoyed streaming from the new premises, and yeah. Shall we say good night?
Back
Good
on,
night.
Night.
back on the regular
Good
next
night.
week. See you all.
See you
All
next
right.
week.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right.
Bye.
Bye bye now.
Bye.